Good morning, all. Jimmy W. You'll have to explain why the 823, because if it's your birthday, we share the same birthday. Or if that's just your lotto numbers.
Or an area code.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton, coming at you from the Floormeister Studios. Floormeisters, keeping it real. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
Top of the morning to you on this hump day, the first one of May. Thanks so much for being with us. Lots to talk about today as we get over it together. How the heck are you, Miller and Moulton? MillerandMoulton.com, Miller_Moulton on X. Good morning, Mark. Big day for you and your family. How are you?
Doing terrific. Last day in Tampa for 2 weeks until I'm back for a doctor's appointment, David. But yes, last day in the Hope Lodge. These people have been just amazing, but I am very happy and very ready to go home for good. So a big day. I'll ring the bell here in a few hours. So very excited, and a couple more tests. And the good news is they knock me out, so I get some drugs, and it forces my wife to have to drive home.
All right.
I confessed yesterday in the doctor's office, not to the doctor, but to one of his nurses, Peter, great guy. And he looked at me, and I was asking a few things and trying to make a trip in September and trying to get permission. And he said, "You been driving?" I just stopped and I looked at him, and he said, "Did you drive up here?" I said, "Yes, I did. As a matter of fact, I've been driving quite a bit." He goes, "Well, we're not the cops." I go, "Well, I'm not telling Kamani." And he just laughed. But I had to confess, came out with my confessions yesterday.
Okay. Nothing wrong with that.
No, they can't do anything now. They've given me clearance to go home. I mean, if there's a time to do that, that's when you do it.
It does seem as if that ship has sailed.
Yes.
No question about it.
Very much so.
Well, obviously we're all very happy for you and thrilled. And what a 100 days it has been. Listen, while you're still in Tampa, did you catch Vassie's comments yesterday?
I didn't. Between all my appointments, and I saw someone post something about it, and I probably need to do some reading during one of the breaks. But between appointments, a dinner with a friend, and a little bit of Avs Wild, I did not watch press conferences. I saw that Hedman decided that he is stepping away. And I don't know if that means for next season. I'm not exactly sure what that means, but I did not see what Vassie said. So fire away.
Well, first with Hedman, I took Hedman as saying the reason he stepped away this year was mental health reasons.
Yeah, I thought he was done for a while. I like to me, is he coming back?
Well, he was back skating with the team, and I don't know if the team had continued playing in the playoffs, if he was open to returning. But I know he had been on the ice, with the guys who aren't going to play the morning of the games. He was one of those guys for the last few games. So, I took it as Hedman's going to come back and play next year, but hey, anything is possible. He's 35 years old. He said he relied on a couple of former teammates pretty heavily, friends and former teammates, one of them being Stamkos. And, a few of the people around the league saw his statement and commented about it and said, yeah, there's a lot more of that than we in hockey, I think, allow you to know.
Yeah, this is where I guess I'm a horrible person because that doesn't compute to me. It doesn't. We live in a world where we take a lot better care of mental health, and I know that's a good thing. You make millions of dollars. If there's something going on with your family, if you have a substance abuse problem, I just don't get. You can do your therapy after practice. Go show up for the game. That's just in my head. I can't wrap my head, my being around that. I can't. Injuries I get, and I mean, you can't put the mental health aside for 4 hours on a Tuesday night to play Game 7. I just that's the part I can't. I struggle with, David, and if that makes me a bad person, guilty as charged.
Hedman missed the last 22 games that the Lightning played, and he revealed yesterday it was for mental health reasons. So, once the season ends, guys go in and they clear out their lockers, and usually the second day after the season ends is this will be the last time you see me till training camp. Anything you want to ask me? And so Vasilevsky was asked about John Cooper's comments about the hockey gods and puck luck. And he outwardly bristled, rolled his eyes, put his hands on the podium, shook his head, took a deep breath, and he all but said the word BS. And he said, I'm kind of tired of hearing that around here. We've been hearing that the last 2-3 years around here, and I'm tired of it. We just need to play better, and the key players need to play better. Okay. All right. But I mean, he flat out said that, yeah, what John Cooper said is full of blank.
I'm curious, and I'll listen myself, so I apologize for not knowing and interviewing you on an interview with someone else. How much blame did he take himself? Because he gave up a lot of soft goals.
Well, he gave up a couple for sure. And in 7 games that were all decided by a goal, everyone stood out. And here's the part that I'm most interested in. Is this Vasilevsky basically throwing everybody under the bus? Himself, the players, the coaches, everybody? Or how much of this is directed right at Cooper? Okay, and I ask only because 13 years, and I know it's unthinkable, but 13 years. And has anybody ever publicly questioned anything John Cooper has said as head coach of the Lightning?
No, not really. I mean, I've seen some fans and I've seen the occasional comment, but no one in the biz, so to speak. No players for sure.
Exactly. So, I'm wondering, is it him just bristling at the comments and it doesn't matter who said them? Or, is that the first chink in the armor?
Let me give you a Moultonism right here, David. This is something that, maybe you would have said before had you seen this. Because, David, you and I love the handshake lines. And I have to be brutally honest, with a lot of these series and getting up the time we get up, when the game ends, I shut it off and go to bed. But I didn't with Tampa Montreal. Obviously, the game started a little earlier. If you recall, after the game was over, there was a player standing all alone at center ice waiting to shake hands with the opposition. That was Vasilevsky.
Yeah, first one, front of the line.
And he was just, hand on a stick, waiting for them to get done celebrating. Get me the hell out of here. I'm honked. And you didn't know if he was mad at himself, mad at the team. Kind of took it that probably he was mad at himself because the shots were so one-sided. At least in the moment, that's how I took it. That he was just really ticked off in a game that they dominated, that Montreal ends up winning. The last person off the ice was John Cooper.
That's right.
And he was shucking and jiving and smiling and not high-fiving, but shaking hands and talking to Marty St. Louis. And he didn't seem to have a care in the world. And I'm watching that going, is he just the classiest guy in the world, or has he forgotten how you're supposed to feel after losing a series? And I really thought that, David. And that is the, cutaway in which late Jim Mandich was all over you so many years ago. It was a Dolphin game. You mean you took all of that from a 4-second cutaway? And one, I was thinking that about Cooper at the time, and I'd not said it. And then I was thinking about Mandich and you, and that's probably why I didn't say it. But when Cooper's going off the ice, they showed Cooper for probably 20 seconds minimum.
Yeah. Well, because there was no one else left to shoot. They were the last two guys on the ice.
But even before that, they showed him shaking hands with some players, and he was in a very good mood for a guy that just got bounced in the first round for the 4th straight year. So I wonder if any of that from Vasilevsky bled over into yesterday's comments, because the beginning of that line and the end of that line were two completely different men.
True. Now, I will say the difference between a player and a coach, and, but
David,
it's Cooper's nature.
I know. I've worked in hockey, in minor league, be it for a long time. I never saw a coach smile on the losing end of a handshake line. Never.
Well, I thought we saw and heard something yesterday that we have not seen or heard from any member of the Tampa Bay Lightning during John Cooper's 13 years. It was a player flat out disagreeing with the coach publicly, because he was told in the question, Coach Cooper said after the game, blah, 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 and he's listening. So he knew who said it. And he flat out said, yeah, that's crap. I'm tired of hearing that. Seems to be what we've heard, the last 2-3 years here. And I'm tired of it. We need to play better, especially the key players. Now, obviously, he's one of them. I just thought it was interesting. You know how hockey is. They all fall in line. Nobody publicly badmouths anybody. Strong comments from one of the key guys on the team, in which he basically said, yeah, I don't agree with the coach at all. It's a bunch of crap, what he's trying to spin.
Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie John and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at pelicanroofingcompany.com. FloorMeisters.com. CCC 1332512.
Floor Meisters just doesn't sell Cortec and carpet. They also sell a lot of wood. And what better time than now to stop in and see the nice folks at Floor Meisters for some new hardwood for your home. With white oak wood starting at $4.99 a square foot, that makes it affordable for everyone. With 10 colors to choose from, they have a color for everyone. So stop in, 6281 Naples Boulevard, right next to Costco, or go to the web. It's floormeisters.com. Floormeisters.com. Floor Meisters, just keeping it real.
American Paint Supplies is your one-stop shop for all your coating needs and has been for 30 years. American Paint Supplies is also your #1 Festool dealer in Southwest Florida. If you are a builder, cabinet maker, painter, or power tool enthusiast, Festool craftsmanship can be found at American Paint Supplies. Celebrating 30 years of service, and Festool is celebrating 100 years of excellence. Come to American Paint Supply for a perfect pairing of service and expertise on 6100 Shirley Street, Naples, off of Pine Ridge, or online at AmericanPaintSupplies.net. Mark Miller for Sleep Treatment Direct. They are helping me with sleep apnea. And by helping me, I mean curing me. No more CPAP machine, no more snoring, no more tossing, no more waking up exhausted. Their expert team got me the right treatment fast and hassle-free. If you want to feel energized and get rid of your snoring, call Sleep Treatment Direct today. 444-1741. That's 239-444-1741. Sleep Treatment Direct. Sleep safe and sound.
This is Miller and Moulton.
I don't know, RCB. I think it's just that the rest of the AL right now has their head up there.
Can I answer yes, RCB? Can both be true?
It wasn't the owner, Paul, but it was the COO.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
21 minutes past the hour. Hump Day edition of Miller and Moulton on this first Wednesday of May. Thanks so much for being with us. Big day on the show. Mark's the last day at Hope House in Tampa. What a journey, man. What a journey. And I know it will continue, and it will continue for the rest of your life in many aspects. But, I mean, this 14-week stretch here.
71 days at the Hope Lodge.
And you've been close to 100 up in Tampa, haven't you?
Right. Yeah. Oh, no, that's about right on. I think like 98. I mean, to be exact, but yes. End of January is when I came up for good, and been here, for quite a while.
So as college dorms go, how would you rank the Hope Lodge?
The Hope Lodge is spectacular. It really is. But any place that you really aren't allowed to leave for 3 months is a bit much. But, little things, I will say, if this were 4 years ago, before I cut the cord, and I would have had to have dealt with their cable system, which didn't have many channels on it.
Right.
Same thing in the hospital. I mean, it sounds silly, but being able to bring my Fire Stick here and have all the comforts of home from a television standpoint with all of the sports that I watched. I mean, I watched a Super Bowl at the hospital. I watched March Madness here, the end of the NHL season and NBA season into the playoffs. I didn't watch opening day. But, if I would have watched opening day, it would have been here. But the Masters.
Right.
The Derby, I was home for the weekend. So I was able to watch the Derby at my house. But without the Fire Stick, I would have gone crazy. The fact that I've got a computer, I set up a little studio here. I've got 2 monitors in front of me. So, because there's things that I do for the show that I'm still able to do. And not knowing when this all started, how much of this I was going to be able to do weighed heavily upon me before I got here.
Right.
When I was given clearance at Moffitt, when I was in the hospital to do the show from Moffitt, I was like, I'll be damned. They're going to let me work. And then it's, will the internet allow me to work?
Right.
And fortunately, give it up for Verizon and their 5G phone, because I have run both of these computers off the hotspot on my phone pretty much throughout, because the internet at Moffitt wasn't good enough to do what we need to do. That stupid MiFi thing sucks. That didn't work. So, fortunately, literally, I've run this show, the commercials, the feed that we see one another on, all off of a hotspot from my phone. And, technology has made this so much easier for my life. That's the part of this that I don't think I fully comprehended, maybe until right now. because, you know, the Super Bowl, March Madness, the Masters, the NHL playoffs, you know, a friend of ours gave me a couple of books. He and I are both foodies. He gave me a couple of books that were about food. I didn't open either effing book. Not once. I broke down the damn NFL draft in ways I never thought I would before.
Yes, you did. I can attest to that. Yes, put a lot of pressure on me.
I've set a new standard for myself when it comes to the NFL draft that I will have to live up to in the future.
Nah, you can always you just claim it like a COVID year. You could just go, well, you know, Moulton, that was 2026. And I'll go, oh yeah, I got you. But yes, it's funny. You know, this show is worrisome for the two of us because it's just the two of us now. But at the same time, I could see it and hear it from you early on in these 100 days, how much the show helped. I almost say was needed because, as you were saying, I can't leave the building. I'm cooped up here. I can't for the longest time, you couldn't get a respite from either place. You're like, if that was 24 hours a day, okay, I really think I'd lose my mind. It's hard enough with it being 20 hours a day. But thank goodness for these 4.
And I really have to give it up to the doctors and nurses and techs at Moffitt because they left me alone from 6 to 10. They knew everybody, and I didn't realize it. I asked a couple people. Well, I found out about a week in that, no, we don't come in between 6 and 10. We all know that you're doing a radio show and we leave you alone. I'm like, I'm running this place. I got all these suckers at my beck and call. This feels good.
Now, if I could just get Moulton to fall in line like I have the staff at Moffitt.
Yeah, I've never thought that, David. Never even attempted to think that. I mean, okay. I'm not a number 2 value meal. At best, I'm a double cheeseburger in your world. I am certainly not a value. Important part, David. An important part. But
Mark, that's a very, very good meal.
Not
And I think Mark's
a value meal.
Yeah, true. It's not, but you know, it's in the area code. It medals, put it that way, at that fast food place. That's it. That meal medals. It does. Might even silver medal. You know, it's up there. But and we would be remiss if we didn't thank both Rick and Raj, who basically turned over their lives because neither one of them was working mornings. And we got 2 old friends who have produced many a show and game for us over 20 plus years. And we said, can you do it? And 2 guys looked at one another and said, how about you do 1 week, I'll do the next. And we'll alternate and we'll see how we do. And they made a 14-week commitment to Miller and Moulton, uplifting their lives every other week and showing up in studio, and midway through it, having to go to a different studio and deal with a whole lot more stuff than they had to dealt with before. And without them, we wouldn't have stayed on the air. This show would have been over.
No doubt. No doubt.
Can't thank Rick and Raj enough. You know, the $20-$30 they made doing this, you know, I hope you can go and get a good value meal, guys. But thanks so much. We owe you big.
No doubt there. No doubt. Well, it was interesting because I met a friend of ours for dinner last night in downtown Tampa, and driving by the arena and, you know, all of the play, you know, all of those light post signs of players and just seeing that going, damn, they should still be playing.
Yeah.
Even my wife said something as we were driving down. She's like, wow. She was, that stinks that they're not playing. I said, it really does. It really does. I've always had a soft spot for them because I worked for a minor league affiliate when I broke into the hockey business. So I've always liked Tampa. They've been a first-class organization. Their in-game experience is one of the best in sports. It truly is. That arena is great. The team has been top-notch, but they fell a goal short against Montreal, and it ended a lot more quickly again than they hoped.
And certain players don't want to hear any excuses.
Miller and Moulton, the starting five. That's what we do next.
The Floor Meisters just doesn't sell Cortec and carpet. They also sell a lot of wood. And what better time than now to stop in and see the nice folks at Floor Meisters for some new hardwood for your home. With white oak wood starting at $4.99 a square foot, that makes it affordable for everyone. With 10 colors to choose from, they have a color for everyone. So stop in, 6281 Naples Boulevard, right next to Costco, or go to the web. It's floormeisters.com. Floormeisters.com. Floor Meisters, just keeping it real.
American Paint Supplies is your one-stop shop for all your coating needs and has been for 30 years. American Paint Supplies is also your #1 Festool dealer in Southwest Florida. If you are a builder, cabinet maker, painter, or power tool enthusiast, Festool craftsmanship can be found at American Paint Supplies. Celebrating 30 years of service, and Festool is celebrating 100 years of excellence. Come to American Paint Supply for a perfect pairing of service and expertise on 6100 Shirley Street, Naples, off of Pine Ridge, or online at AmericanPaintSupplies.net.
Cape Coral Police Department is growing, and they want you to be a part of it. They're hiring new officers. Starting pay is between $74,000 and $90,000, depending on your experience. And with a $10,000 hiring bonus, you could be making $100,000. Enjoy paid holidays, off-duty details, plenty of OT opportunities. They're also hiring dispatchers and professional staff. So go to CapeCops.com. CapeCops.com. Be brave, be best, be Cape.
Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie John and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at PelicanRoofingCompany.com. CCC 13325.
This is Miller and Moulton.
I don't think it'll be that tight, Jay Gunn. I don't have that kind, well, who knows? But I'm thinking, again, more of your mullet curl, late 80s, early 90s Minnesota high school hockey. That's what I'm shooting for. If it comes back straight, then I'll just be normal. But if I get flow, look out. I'll be sending pictures to Bednar saying, I got you beat, sucker. Although he's in such good shape, they'll never win that. Oh, for sure. Because the wife and daughter despise facial hair. And this is there. It's just really gray. This got darker than it was. So, yeah, I might go the chin and the mustache for next week to really piss off my wife and daughter. David, there is an X account. Somehow I was on the, For You page instead of the following page. Young Gritty. Breaking. Gavin McKenna is expected to meet with State College Police tomorrow. The expectation is he requests jail time instead of being drafted to the Maple Leafs.
Wow. Outstanding.
Yeah, it's funny, Paula. They don't do it at Florida Cancer Specialists. I had 2 of them there. They did not sedate me for either. It didn't hurt, but I'm like, let's see. Dig into my hip and you can put me out, or dig into my hip and I get a local. Let's go with B. Let's go with A. Put me out. Then I can make my wife drive home too, because legally I can't drive after being sedated. The only problem is when they give me the sedative, I go down. And I mean, they put that, I guess they'll do it in the port today. Before they were doing it in my central line. I mean, I go out now. I don't even get the 10 seconds of euphoria. It's just bye-bye, night-night. I wake up with a little groggy buzz. Oh, and I'll be doing it tonight during rush hour, Tim. It's going to look at, we'll leave here. I got another test I got that at 12:30, and then I've got another test at 4. I will try to get to the 4 o'clock one early and pray that, get out a little earlier. But holy crap, we're going to be going through Sarasota in rush hour. It's going to be hell. Yes, it did by a goal, Sonny. Went under what I would have put it at. I said 7.5. I don't know how it got to 6.5, but Sarasota traffic is worse than Fort Myers, Naples traffic. It is. And I don't think it's close.
Yep. Empty netter with 5 seconds.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
22 minutes till the top of the hour. Thanks for being with us. Miller and Moulton, millerandmoulton.com, Miller_Moulton on X. It's a hump day edition. Seth Everett, a little more than an hour. Lots going on in the golf world. Jason Sobel, as soon as he's done with his morning show, will join us at the top of the pro hour, the bonus hour. We're getting them right off the 18th green, Mark. Signed his scorecard. Boom. We're getting them. No?
Now, I was thinking since it's 9, the 9 at 9th green. Gilmore, I'm throwing the sprinkler.
Well, I feel a little bit like John Cooper, only with the internet gods.
Yeah, no doubt. You're going to have to do your thing here, and I'm going to have to make a switch.
All right. Well, go.
Here, I'll give you the intro.
The starting 5. 5 big stories you need to know. Here is the starting 5.
See you in a minute.
Thanks, Mark. We'll start with the NHL. Their lottery is different than the other sports that do lotteries. It's confusing and cool all at the same time. There's 2 lotteries in one. They draw 4 balls, and depending on what number you've been assigned, if that ball comes up, you win. The Toronto Maple Leafs, who didn't have great odds to win the lottery, less than 10%, in fact, heading to the final ping pong ball. They won it. They're going to have the number 1 pick in the upcoming NHL draft. It's expected to be Penn State forward Gavin McKenna. We'll see. This will be the second time in 10 or so years the Leafs have had the top pick. Last time they had it, they drafted this Austin Matthews guy, which is funny because now he may be wanting to leave. We'll see. San Jose, the number 2 pick. Vancouver, who had the best odds, they got the number 3 pick. Rangers, number 5. Panthers, the 9th overall pick in the draft. So you go to 3 straight Stanley Cup finals, and during your off year, you get a top 10 pick of what is considered to be a good draft. So we'll see if the Panthers can take advantage of it. Tampa Bay Lightning goalie Andrei Vasilevsky bristled when told of head coach John Cooper's comments about hockey gods and puck luck. He literally bristled, had his hands on his hips, looked out at the reporters, and said, "Yeah, I'm tired of hearing about hockey gods and puck luck. I feel like that's our excuse the last few years. At the end of the day, it's like a broken record over and over again." Said the team needs to man up and play better, and specifically referenced the Carolina Hurricanes. Be curious the legs that these comments have and whether anyone else will back him up on it. Or is this just one guy's opinion taking the loss really hard? Be interesting to see. One other Tampa Bay Lightning note, Victor Hedman released a statement yesterday saying that the reason he missed the last 22 games of the season was for his own mental health. A 35-year-old is expected back, still has multiple years left on his contract, but we shall see. On the ice last night, Colorado is proving to be too much for the Wild. They tried to roll the pucks out, so to speak, and skate with them and lost 9-6. So last night they tried the tighter checking skating affair, and Colorado led 2-1, 3-1, 4-1. And the empty netter with 5 seconds to go made the game go over. Avs 5-2 over the Wild. Nathan McKinnon with a goal and 2 assists as Colorado is now up 2 spit in a series that many feel is the Western Conference Final. Tonight, 2 NHL playoff games. Les Habitants are in Buffalo to take on the Sabres. 7 o'clock TNT. Then 9:30 TNT, Game 2, Anaheim and Vegas. Vegas with a controversial Game 1 win when what looked like it was going to be an icing was waved off, and Vegas scored with the puck still in the zone. Anaheim is still kvetching about it. NBA. Couple of playoff games last night. Couple of home teams winning. Pistons, big first quarter. Led by 16. Cleveland got close a few times. But the Pistons held them off, 111-101. Cade with 23. Tobias Harris with 20. Game 2 tomorrow night. Oklahoma City slowly pulled away against the Lakers. You know, up by 6 after 1, up by 8 or 9 at the half. Up by 13 after 3. Next thing you know, Oklahoma City had won by 18 and covered that 15.5-point spread, 108-90. Chet Holmgren, 24 points, 12 rebounds in the Game 1 win. Couple of Game 2s tonight, Mark. Knicks at home. Can they go up 2 spit on the Sixers? Remember, Philly won Game 2 in Boston. And San Antonio, can they even their series with Anthony Edwards and the T-Wolves? Both games on the 4-letter network tonight, 7 and 9:30.
7.5 and 9.5 are the respective spreads in those games. 9.5, you got to lay for the Spurs.
I would lay the Spurs before I'd lay the Knicks.
I'm with you. I agree with that 100%, David.
Philly's recent history, the Knicks' recent Game 2 history. Baseball. How about the damn Rays, man? 5 in a row.
Going on.
10 of 11. Second best team in the American League. It's not even close. Rallied in this one, down 2 in the 8th, or excuse me, down 1 in the 8th. They scored 2 in the 8th to come from behind and beat Toronto 4-3. Problem for the Rays is they're in the same division as the best team in the American League. Yankees have also won 5 in a row and 15 of 17. Jazz Chisholm homered off Jacob deGrom to break a 6th-inning tie. Yankees went on to beat Texas 7-4. What another Bush League move by Framber Valdez. Remember last year when he was with the Astros? He got all upset at his catcher after disagreeing on a pitch, and the guy hit it out of the park. And so the next pitch, he intentionally crossed up the catcher, and the catcher ended up missing the ball. Unfortunately, it hit him in the chest where he has a protector. But Valdez couldn't get the Red Sox out yesterday, gave up a series of homers, including back-to-back. And after the back-to-back homers, he decides to just, take out Trevor Story. Come on, dude. Be bigger than that.
It's a little high.
Just...
I will say the second home run, look at you, whatever. I don't care one way or another. I'm not on either side. But after seeing that it happened, I kind of watched and read. The second home run, the guy gave it a long look, didn't leave the box, gave a nice bat flip, and he said, all right, you're gonna show me up, I'm gonna hit somebody. I mean, I don't know, David, that's old school baseball.
It's a problem now though, Mark, because Major League Baseball for a half dozen years now has encouraged the players to do that, to show their emotion and what have you. So what was old school, now is like, hey, man, that's got to be accepted as part of the game. Pitchers are demonstrative after they strike people out coming off the mound. Hitters are strutting and posing, and everybody's just got to deal with it.
No, I understand. I'm giving you both sides.
No, that's true.
I think it was part of a 5-run third. So yeah. they were hammering him pretty good, and he took it out on the next batter.
Yes, he did. Boston took it out on Detroit 10-3. The Marlins had a really impressive series in LA and have come home and lost 4 of 5. They scored 2 in the 7th, 1 in the 8th to tie things up with the Orioles at 7. But Ashley Rutschman, pinch hit, RBI single, and a 2-run ninth for the O's, who desperately needed the win after getting swept in a 4-game series in the Bronx. Baltimore 9-7 over Miami. Marlins have lost 4 of 5. Phils, they've won 6 of 7 since making the managerial change. Bryce Harper, 2 homers. That's after he won the game before, 1-0 with the only run.
David, the good news is the Phillies now are tied for second place in the division. The bad news is they're 4 games below 500 and 9.5 back of the Braves.
9-1 Phillies over the first place A's. The Braves got a game-winning homer in the ninth from Matt Olson to beat Seattle on the road 3-2. Mets and Rockies, Brewers and Cardinals, games both postponed, one because of snow, the other because of rain. Both will be made up tomorrow. Astros beat the Dodgers 2-1. Ohtani got outpitched. He only gave up
his first home run of the year.
Only gave up 2 runs in 7 innings, but Peter Lambert only gave up 1 run in 7 innings. 2-1 Astros over LA. Padres make up some ground. They scored 5 in the 4th. They double up the Giants 10-5. Eduardo Rodriguez, 2 hits through 7. Arizona shut out Pittsburgh 9-0. Man, the Cubs are on fire, and the Reds are not. The Reds were cruising heading into a weekend series. They haven't won since. They've lost 5 in a row. The Cubs have won 7 straight. Despite mustering up only 3 hits, they beat the Reds 3-2 and 10. Buxton hit a 3-run homer for the Twins, 11-3 over the Nats. Royals' 5th straight win. They're pulling a Phillies here, Mark. They were like 10 games below 500, and now they're, I think, getting close to first in the Central. KC 5-3 over Cleveland. Trout homered in the Angels' 4-3 win over the White Sox. Carlos Correa, in batting practice, hurt his left ankle so badly he had to be stretchered off the field. They think he's going to be out months. And the Reds lost their closer last night, Emilio Pagan, to a hamstring injury. That's probably a month on the IL. NFL quickly. Stephon Diggs, who's a free agent, found not guilty of assaulting a former chef yesterday. Giants signed defensive tackle DJ Reader, 2 years, $25 million, only the first year guaranteed. And Seattle's going to sign edge rusher Dante Fowler Jr. to a 1-year deal worth up to $5 million. And at 8 minutes before the hour mark, that was the starting 5 big stories you need to know here on Miller and Moulton.
One other note, NFL-wise, they're voting Thursday, but it looks as if the NFL Referees Union and the NFL have basically an agreement. It looks as if the refs are going to ratify the agreement. They officially vote Thursday, but from all accounts, they're going to get the votes. That's going to avoid a strike, lockout, whatever you want to call it, between the two sides, and we're not going to have replacement officials. I mean, I think that's very significant NFL news.
The tell was last week when the NFL very quietly handed out officiating crews and said these will be the crews for the year. It was kind of like, oh, you mean the regular folk? Huh. I guess negotiations are going okay.
Right. The CBA actually this CBA expires the end of the month, but it looks as if we're not even going to get to that point.
Hey, if only Major League Baseball could do that.
No kidding. Miller and Moulton, thanks for listening.
American Paint Supplies is your one-stop shop for all your coating needs and has been for 30 years. American Paint Supplies is also your #1 Festool dealer in Southwest Florida. If you are a builder, cabinet maker, painter, or power tool enthusiast, Festool craftsmanship can be found at American Paint Supplies. Celebrating 30 years of service, and Festool is celebrating 100 years of excellence. Come to American Paint Supply for a perfect pairing of service and expertise on 6100 Shirley Street, Naples, off of Pine Ridge, or online at AmericanPaintSupplies.net.
Floor Meisters just doesn't sell Cortec and carpet. They also sell a lot of wood. And what better time than now to stop in and see the nice folks at Floor Meisters for some new hardwood for your home. With white oak wood starting at $4.99 a square foot, that makes it affordable for everyone. With 10 colors to choose from, they have a color for everyone. So stop in, 6281 Naples Boulevard, right next to Costco, or go to the web. It's floormeisters.com. Floormeisters.com. Floormeisters, just keeping it real.
Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie John and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at pelicanroofingcompany.com. CCC 1332512.
The Cape Coral Police Department is growing, and they want you to be a part of it. They're hiring new officers. Starting pay is between $74,000 and $90,000, depending on your experience. And with a $10,000 hiring bonus, you could be making $100,000. Enjoy paid holidays, off-duty details, plenty of OT opportunities. They're also hiring dispatchers and professional staff. So go to capecops.com. capecops.com. Be brave, be best, be Cape.
Mark Miller for Sleep Treatment Direct. They are helping me with sleep apnea. And by helping me, I mean curing me. No more CPAP machine, no more snoring, no more tossing, no more waking up exhausted. Their expert team got me the right treatment, fast and hassle-free. If you want to feel energized and get rid of your snoring, call Sleep Treatment Direct today. 444-1741. That's 239-444-1741. Sleep Treatment Direct. Sleep safe and sound.
If you're a business who targets men, please know there is no better and more economical way to reach your target audience than us at Miller & Moulton. So let us help you make money. You can reach out to Mark at that Mark Miller or me at the David Moulton on X, or text us at 21,000. We have a proven product, a good reputation, and lots of quality segments that we can attach your company's name to. Miller & Moulton, we're like that old pizza box. You've had the rest, now try the best. Miller & Moulton, millerandmoulton.com.
This is Miller and Moulton.
Yes, they do, Clark. They look damn near unbeatable. I think Carolina would give them the best series, but the way Montreal and Buffalo played, I don't know. It's because the league's fixed. They'll do anything to make Toronto good. What a joke. The irony is, though, San Jose got the second pick, and they had they missed the playoffs by like 4 points. That gives them 3 years in a row with a top 3 pick, and this is a good draft. So they got Celebrini. They got another kid that's expected to make the team next year, and now they'll get, yet another really good prospect. Good news is the Wings traded their first-round pick to miss the playoffs for a very average defenseman, but wouldn't give that same pick up to get Quinn Hughes. Good God. You know what, Sonny? That series should be good. The White Sox, what are they, a game below 500 right now, Sonny? I mean, two games. They lost last night. So, yeah, and the Twins started out pretty good, didn't they, DC? I mean, believe it or not, they still have a positive run differential. By the way, David, I looked at I was just trying to check run differential when you were going through baseball to see if there was something to add about a team and jump in and give you a half a second breath. The Phillies have now won, what, 6 of 7?
Yeah.
Okay. They're still, and they won by 8 last night. They're still minus 34. They're 4 games below 500, and they're minus 34. It's worse than the Mets. So I have something here, and it's college football again because I can't help myself. And
Okay. I can go MLB short segment.
Okay. And I think it's, again, we could do the poll question 75 times, but I do think it's poll question
Okay.
worthy. And you may think it's just a bunch of bunk. That's fine. That's it, Tretherian. Keep trying. Keep trying. By the way, I caught the end of the whatever show that goes to 11, David. They were talking about it, but I caught it pretty late because we didn't get in the car until, 11:15. The next guy barely brought it up in the first half hour.
I know.
I don't need to listen to this.
Yeah, I was disappointed. They
wanted to go draft lottery.
I know.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton, coming at you from the Floor Meister Studios. Floor Meisters, keeping it real. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
Hour 2 of Miller and Moulton on this hump day. Seth Everett in an hour, Jason Sobel in 2 hours. Here on Miller and Moulton, millerandmoulton.com, Miller_Moulton on X. Thanks so much for being with us. 3 playoff games last night, 4 playoff games tonight, 2 hoop, 2 hockey. Enjoy at your own leisure. Playoffs have been terrific thus far. Certainly interesting and not predictable. So can't ask for much more than that as a sports fan, especially if you don't have a dog in the fight.
Pelican Roofing of Florida text line is open as always. 21,000 is the number. If you've never texted the show before, you need to text the keyword Miller to 21,000 and let it rip, basically. Whatever it is you want to talk about. Had a lot of people chime in yesterday. It was National Concert Day, giving me their best shows. Jealous of a lot of you that got to see Led Zeppelin. And that was really that, but some people talking about Prince in the Time. Just a lot of different shows made me smile. I sent a few texts back to people yesterday.
I will say I felt badly that Raj was not our producer yesterday because Raj is an even bigger music aficionado than you are.
Not close. Roger's much bigger, but his top 3 concerts would be Fish, Fish, and Fish.
Well, it's funny. So I brought right before the show, you weren't in your chair yet. You had set up, but you had, gone to get a coffee or something. And so I let Raj know, I go, hey, this was a topic yesterday. And he's like, oh man, he said, do you mind if I think about it? Yeah, sure. So he thought about it a while. So Raj, all right, your top 3 concerts are...
Well, Miller had it on the money. I could do Fish, Fish, and Fish. One is definitely number 1 is the Fish Millennium Show at the Seminole Indian Reservation, where they played from just before midnight till sunrise. That
and
was
amazing.
With
George Harrison's "Here Comes the Sun," right, Raj?
I feel are Paul McCartney and Eric Clapton.
Okay. I don't think Raj can hear me when we go back, but if I remember right, that Fish show, didn't they finish with "Here Comes the Sun" during sunrise?
Absolutely. That was the walkout music. They didn't play it themselves, but they played it over the speaker.
Okay.
Yeah.
Very cool. I mean, played all night.
Yeah.
All night. No break from about 10 minutes till midnight till after 6 a.m.
So there you have it. We had our choices yesterday. We brought in the music aficionado. He did just go Harrison and McCartney.
Right.
Yeah. Okay.
Clapton, McCartney, and then a Fish show that finished with George Harrison. By the way, Raj, how many people were at that Fish show? Just guesstimate.
I believe it was between 60 and 70,000.
Okay. So if I were to put the over under on hallucinogens at 150,000, where would you go?
Way over, probably.
So, David, I saw an article yesterday, and you may just laugh and poo-poo me and say it means nothing, and you're probably right. But there's this college football coaches committee, and they have no say-so with the playoff. They have no say-so with the conferences, and they have no say-so with the NCAA. I mean, who does? But they basically came out with their idea of what college football should look like.
Okay.
And I want Bielema is on this panel. I mean, there are some, they're Power 4 coaches, big time coaches. These are guys, these aren't, I think the board's got Bielema, it's got Pat Fitzgerald and a few others. I mean, guys that you know who they are. And they opted, if given the choice, to go with the maximum number of playoff teams, and that's 24. They also said, while going 24, college football conference championships should go away.
Okay.
Additionally, they said Army-Navy needs to be a standalone game, although there need to be other games on that day. But Army-Navy deserves its own time slot, period, end of sentence. And finally, they suggested that the entire college football playoff should be finished by the second week in January.
Now we're talking.
I mean, I don't know, David, and you probably will tell me that this group has great, good for them. It's just, it's like an opinion piece on Yahoo, for crying out loud. And maybe it is. But some of these coaches have done this a long time. And I have to believe some of these coaches at least have the ear of their athletic directors. And the one thing that I take out of this, maybe more than anything, two things. One, I don't know if they'll ever finish when the coaches want to. I wish they would. But the 24 team playoff seems to be getting a lot of momentum. And David, I'll go back to the expansion of the college basketball tournament. Greg Sankey was for it. Petiti from the Big Ten seemed to be against it. And then he changed his mind. What happened behind closed doors? You do me a solid, I'll do you a solid. I mean, you've said it a million times. How the hell does the SEC lose in a 2014 playoff? It'll look like the college softball tournament. They'll have 6-8 teams in it every year.
Yep. Now, Sankey argues it'll negate the regular season. It won't make the games as important. Possibly. You could also argue, though, those late season games, they'll still be for bids in the tournament. How many bids the SEC going to get? We got to line them up in order. Yeah.
It is fascinating that Sankey says that. He just expanded the college basketball tournament to prove that the regular season is now bunk. I mean, at 76, come on. We're going to have, David, at 76 in the hoop tournament, we're going to have at least, I would think 2 teams minimum, probably 4 teams that will have losing records in conference play in the Power 4 conferences making the college basketball tournament.
Oh, easily.
So don't tell me that regular season matters, but the football one we've got to preserve. You're talking out of both sides of your mouth, Greg.
Well, commissioners have been known to do that before.
I understand.
I like everything that the coaches had to say. I can be talked into 24 teams. I can. Is it my first choice? No. Might not even be my second. I mean, Tony Petiti put a lot of thought into this. All right. He has mapped out the schedule. He's a former TV executive with both CBS and MLB Network. He was the number 2 guy at CBS before he began MLB Network. He understands television. He knows what they want. Remember, he just negotiated a TV deal with 3 broadcast partners, not 1. And he's making more money than the SEC.
Yeah, that number came out yesterday. That's a small number.
What's it, about 75 per Big Ten school?
It went up like a $500 million from last year. Like the total number, it was like 1.34 billion they're splitting or something like that. It's a monster number.
Right, divided by 18. I think it's like 73 million a school, something like that. Now, of course, the next divide is going to be the top 3 or 4 schools in the conference going, how come Minnesota gets the same share that we get? What's going on with that? But that's for another day.
And David, I don't like 24. I like it right where it's at. I'd leave it at 12. I know that's not going to happen. I can deal with 16, and I'll deal with 24. I guess at the end of the day, if it's 24 without these conference championship games, is that enough of a sacrifice to get rid of meaningless football games? And does the fan want that? I mean, I want to ask the Florida fan, the Michigan fan, and maybe the Big Ten fan's the wrong fan to ask because they've had their championship game for the least amount of time. But forever, David, you know this. You worked in the conference. You were in Atlanta every damn year. That's what it was about all year long, getting to Atlanta.
Yep.
And I grew up in Big Ten country. Long before a championship game and a national championship, the only thing that mattered in that conference was getting to Pasadena.
Right.
That was it.
Yep.
Can't speak for old Big 8 people. That's now the Big 12. I don't know if getting to the Cotton Bowl was the end-all, be-all. You know, for Notre Dame, it was a national championship. I think for USC, it kind of was too. They just assumed they were going to Pasadena and either going to beat Michigan or Ohio State. So I don't know about every specific conference when it comes to what the expectations were. But I do know since I've moved to Florida, which has been, roughly almost 30 years now, that it was about getting to Atlanta. And my first marriage was in an SEC family. That's all they talked about was winning the SEC. That's not good enough anymore for any college football fan. The only thing I would throw at some of you, if you're not a fan of one of the big boys, and we all know who we're talking about, the elite schools, like for instance, my alma mater, I didn't think with the 12-team playoff that there was much of a shot that my school would ever make a playoff again with the new landscape in college football. Now, with what Indiana's done and it going to 24, aren't more of us in? I know in the Twitch chat room, we've got a big Auburn fan. Doesn't that make life a hell of a lot easier for you as an Auburn fan? Florida State fan, I know you got to get your act together. I get it. So I just wonder, and we've got a lot of people from a lot of regions in the country that listen to this show, David. If you're not a fan of Texas, Ohio State, Michigan, Georgia, isn't this better for some of those schools? Gophers, Wisconsin? I'm just curious.
Well, the other thing that I think it's better for, and I know we're up against it, is, Mark, I think 24 allows you to schedule carte blanche. You can schedule some really, really good games, and it's actually not the worst thing in the world if you lose them. You'll get credit for scheduling them. You don't get credit for scheduling them at 12.
So 12, 16, 24. It's going to be 16 or 24.
American Paint Supplies, celebrating 30 years in Naples, is proud to be the exclusive Farrow & Ball dealer in Southwest Florida. The best thing to come from the UK since the Beatles, Farrow & Ball has the colors and paints at American Paint Supplies. See why all the designers and painters choose Farrow & Ball. For 30 years, American Paint Supplies provides the perfect pairing of service and expertise on 6100 Shirley Street in Naples off of Pine Ridge or online at AmericanPaintSupplies.net. American Paint Supplies is your one-stop shop for all your coating
The
needs.
Floor Meisters just doesn't sell Cortec and carpet. They also sell a lot of wood. And what better time than now to stop in and see the nice folks at Floor Meisters for some new hardwood for your home. With white oak wood starting at $4.99 a square foot, that makes it affordable for everyone. With 10 colors to choose from, they have a color for everyone. So stop in, 6281 Naples Boulevard, right next to Costco, or go to the web. It's floormeisters.com. Floormeisters.com. Floor Meisters, just keeping it real.
Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie John and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at pelicanroofingcompany.com. CCC 1332512. Mark Miller for Sleep Treatment Direct. They are helping me with sleep apnea. And by helping me, I mean curing me. No more CPAP machine. No more snoring. No more tossing. No more waking up exhausted. Their expert team got me the right treatment, fast and hassle-free. If you want to feel energized and get rid of your snoring, call Sleep Treatment Direct today. 444-1741. That's 239-444-1741. Sleep Treatment Direct. Sleep safe and sound.
This is Miller and Moulton.
Fair enough, Buck. You know, the person who said Ohio State can then lose to Michigan and Texas and still get in. Do you think Ohio State at 10-2 is not getting in the playoff? If they lose both with 12, do you really think 10-2 Ohio State's not getting in? Because I do. And the only thing I'd say to you, Puck, on that, I got you, but 16 or 24 is coming. I'd rather have 16 than 24. I would. But I thought you were saying that at a 24-team playoff. With a 12-team playoff, I think they get in. That's what I'm saying. Like, if it's 12 teams and Ohio State loses to Texas and Michigan, I think they're in. I do. Well, look at we went through this yesterday, Leftwicks, and Notre Dame heading into this year is playing like the 116th best schedule. Ohio State's playing like the second. So I do think that that's a huge difference. You know, Notre Dame's level of competition was not good. Not necessarily their fault that some teams crumbled around them. But this is where big conferences are going to get the nod over Notre Dame. They are. And 10-2, Miami got it. So if you put Ohio State in that mix, which one do you think's getting left out? Ohio State? Apparently that Sorsby hired the lawyer that handled the Jordan case for NASCAR and the guy that went to the Supreme Court against the NCAA and won 9 spit. He's basically, they called him in the article in Sportico, the Michael Jordan of litigators. This is for the Cincinnati million. This is not for the eligibility. No, I don't think Sorsby's going to get suspended. I think he's just trying to get where he doesn't have to pay that $1 million back because he's not going to get the $5 million from Texas Tech now. I don't think he's playing again.
I don't think he is either.
I'll be stunned if they allow him eligibility.
I mean, quite frankly, he's such a problem gambler. If I'm the NFL teams, I'd be worried.
Don't disagree, David. Like, would you draft him?
Well, he'd go in the supplemental draft. So,
Okay.
So whatever round you draft him in the supplemental draft, that's the round pick you lose in next year's draft. No, I would not draft him. and I'm pretty pro gambling, but he has a gambling problem.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
"21 minutes past the hour. Seth Everett will join us at the top of the hour. Hump Day edition of Miller and Moulton. MillerandMoulton.com, Miller_Moulton on X. Mark, if I can continue this discussion at least for a little bit. So, Petiti doesn't trust Sankey when it concerns this issue of college football and the number of bids. Sankey has been saying to Petiti, would you just agree to 16 and we'll see if it works, and then, maybe we'll go to 24. And Petiti is like, yeah, Greg, that's cute. I'll agree to 16 if literally we also have agreed that in X number of years we're going to 24. That's the only way I'll agree to 16. Got it? So that's how far apart they are. They literally don't trust each other. Or at least Petiti doesn't trust Sankey. Mark, I just looked at last year's standings during the break. Not rankings, standings. Because my thought is that that's how bids would get handed out. Let's just say there were 24 spots.
Gotcha.
So with the Big Two especially, I mean, we could debate how many in the Big 12 and the ACC, and, it could be anywhere from 3 to 5. But, Mark, there was a 4-way tie in the SEC last year at 7-1. Now we're going to 9 conference games, but just play along. And then, Mark, there was a 3-way tie at 6-2. And there's a part of me that says, yeah, those 7 teams would get in without question.
Yeah, I was going to say, of those 3 6-2 teams, David, how many did lose, and how many of those teams lost another game?
They all lost another game.
So they all lost a non-conference game on top of the 2 conference losses. Okay.
Well, I have to amend that because they have their final records here. So,
that's bowl game records. Okay.
Yeah. So like Oklahoma was 6-2 in conference, but I know their regular season record was 10-2. Their third loss came to Alabama in the playoff, So, but I think, Mark, that if we went to 24, that the SEC easily would have gotten 7 last year.
I think you're probably right. And remember, however they do this, they're going to leave a group of 5 team in, and it will probably only be one, but they'll get a team in.
I will say last year would have been an interesting case study, at least based on the final top 25 poll. There were a lot of group of 5 teams in the bottom, like 18 through 25.
Right. And the ACC was a hot mess last year. I mean, if there was ever the right groundswell to get multiple group of 5 teams in, last year would have been the year.
Now, the Big Ten, for example, we think 7 in the SEC would have made it. I think 5 would have made it in the Big Ten, and there would have been a hearty debate for number 6. But Indiana and Ohio State were undefeated in conference. Oregon lost once. USC and Michigan had lost twice. I think those 5 teams would have gotten bids. The question is, would 6 and 3 Iowa have gotten a bid? Take a look at who their losses were to. They lost 1-score games to Oregon and Indiana. I mean, pretty good 6 and 3 team in conference, but I don't know if they would have gotten in or not. So to me, Mark, just between the big 2, I think conservatively it would have been 12 of the 24. 7 and 5.
And I think you're being conservative. Most years, David. I mean, I know you're using last year's numbers, but I think most years, I think that's the bare minimum they get in.
Okay. So, does that sound okay to everybody, or is that too many?
Because if it's 24, just think about this, David. Let's just throw, for sake of argument, the group of 5 and Notre Dame in. We're now at 14.
Correct.
Do you really believe the ACC and Big 12 are getting 5 each?
Certainly not now. Okay, certainly not now. I will say it would have led to very interesting debates. You're debating like the 4th place team in the Big 12 versus a 6th, 7th, or 8th place team somewhere else. But that's why I wonder, is there actually room for more than one group of 5?
I actually think there probably is. I really do.
Just, throwing that out there. That you take the best team from the best group of 5, group of 6, but then also, was there room for 11-1 Navy? How about South Florida's resume?
I think
is
North Texas was right there. I mean, I think it was North Texas. So no, I mean, Boise was off last year, but then you look at that. Now we've got the Pac-12 coming back. Is that conference just a conference in name only? I am never going to equate it with the Power 4 conference, but does that conference become the best group of 5 conference, if you know what I mean? And I kind of think it does most years.
Like, it would have been interesting how many would have gotten in from the ACC. If Virginia, SMU, and Miami made the 12-team playoff. Okay, well, 2 of them made it anyway. Actually, Duke made it because they won. Duke and Virginia were the ACC title game. But, I mean, there was a 5-way tie for second in the ACC last year. It would have been fascinating because people would have said, "Oh, you can't put 6 in for the ACC." Yeah, okay, fine. Divvy up the 6 and 2 teams in conference. Who's in, who's out?
But this is where I see a lot more conference commissioners going 24 than 16, because the conference commissioner, and they've proven this in basketball, and I hate to keep bringing up college basketball to you, but to me, it makes the argument relevant. They have proven they don't care about the tournament. They only care about their conference. They don't care about the sport. So if you're running the ACC or the Big 12, explain to me why you're not voting with Tony Petitti. This is your chance to get more teams in. Look at what you're getting in now at 12. How many more do you think you're really going to get at 16? Maybe one each? Maybe. Because I could argue that if they go from 12 to 16, 3 of those 4 spots are going to be taken by Big Ten and SEC teams, David. So they're going to get one more bid.
Another reason why Petiti wants 24 is he wants to get rid of the conference title games. And he actually has one that rates and that sells out. Sankey, I mean, not to go with a really old reference, but you bring up the idea of getting rid of the SEC championship game to Greg Sankey, and, you know, he's Charlton Heston at that NRA meeting 30 years ago going, you know, you'll have to rip it out of my cold, dead hands. So major differences between the big two. Major. Petiti's trying to say to Sankey, Greg, all that money you're going to lose with no Atlanta, we'll make it up with the 8 extra teams. Trust me.
And then some.
Right.
And that's where, to me, Petiti can look at Sankey and go, you realize how much more money we make than you. Believe it or not, you may not think it. I'm better at making money than you are.
Yeah.
I truly am. You might want to listen here.
Yeah. Leave the TV to me, Greg. I'm better at it.
Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie John and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at pelicanroofingcompany.com. CCC 1332512.
The Floormeisters just doesn't sell Cortec and carpet. They also sell a lot of wood. And what better time than now to stop in and see the nice folks at Floormeisters for some new hardwood for your home. With white oak wood starting at $4.99 a square foot, that makes it affordable for everyone. With 10 colors to choose from, they have a color for everyone. So stop in, 6281 Naples Boulevard, right next to Costco, or go to the web. It's floormeisters.com. Floormeisters.com. Floormeisters, just keeping it real.
American Paint Supplies, celebrating 30 years in Naples, is proud to be the exclusive Farrow & Ball dealer in Southwest Florida. The best thing to come from the UK since the Beatles, Farrow & Ball has the colors and paints at American Paint Supplies. See why all the designers and painters choose Farrow & Ball. For 30 years, American Paint Supplies provides the perfect pairing of service and expertise on 6100 Shirley Street in Naples off of Pine Ridge, or online at AmericanPaintSupplies.net. American Paint Supplies is your one-stop shop for all your coating needs.
The Cape Coral Police Department is growing, and they want you to be a part of it. They're hiring new officers. Starting pay is between $74,000 and $90,000, depending on your experience. And with a $10,000 hiring bonus, you could be making $100,000. Enjoy paid holidays, off-duty details, plenty of OT opportunities. They're also hiring dispatchers and professional staff. So go to CapeCops.com. CapeCops.com. Be brave, be best, be Cape.
This is Miller and Moulton.
Yes, he would. Yes, they would. No, he was a freshman ambient. He and they keep his rights. I think it's a lot like baseball, Dratharian. I believe it's until after their junior year. Like the kid that was at Michigan State was drafted by Tampa, and Tampa ended up not signing him after like the 3rd year, and then they lost his rights. So I think you've got 3 years. Okay, as a Leafs fan, I get it. But would you do it as if you were Edmonton, would you make that deal? And that's the part. Everybody can make the trade for their team. You have to put the other GM hat on. Yeah. Do you think he's coming to Toronto, Canada Relief? Like, seriously, with that GM, that may have cost him McDavid too. Where would you go? Play in New York City or play in Toronto? I think he comes to hell. He might come and play for Tampa. You couldn't pay me to go pay for the Leafs right now. What a mess that organization is.
Did you see Biz's comments?
You're listening to Miller and Moulton. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
22 minutes till Seth Everett will join us at the top of the hour. Thanks for being with us on this hump day, the first Wednesday in May. Miller and Moulton, millerandmoulton.com, Miller_Moulton on X. Jason Sobel will join us at the top of our pro hour, the bonus hour. So I know it's not the baseball hour, but we had things to discuss in the baseball hour.
Right.
I just want to throw this in there quick. Don't have to do the whole segment on it. But I'm secretly rooting for something to happen that was a possibility last year, but only briefly. And I know it's early, but I think it's a real possibility this year. Don't we have to root for the A's to win the West? Because you know what that means, don't you?
Playoff baseball in a minor league park?
Yep. In West Sacramento. Hello. Last year, when the Rays were sniffing it until their late season, faltering, and Major League Baseball said, well, if you're the 4 and you're hosting the 4-5 series, you can do it at Steinbrenner Field. Now, afterwards, we're going to, no, we can't have a division series or an LCS or anything else there. But they allowed the best of 3 to take place at Steinbrenner Field last year. Obviously, it didn't happen. Mark, here's how messed up the American League is right now. The A's would get a bye.
No, I'm aware. David, the Tigers are leading the Central. And by Miller and Moulton's rules, we're not allowed to talk about the Tigers.
No. But since they would clinch a playoff spot if the playoffs were today, we kind of, work them in.
No, I got you. Now, I will say, David, because the American League's such a mess, and here we are in early May, the Mariners and Rangers are much more highly thought of this year than the Athletics. They're only 2 games back. So I understand. I get where you're coming from. I support you. I'd like you to hold off and hope that the Athletics are in first at Memorial Day. Then we can start taking that claim a touch more seriously.
Absolutely. It's way too early. Okay. I just wanted to throw it out there because, Mark, today, this is how bad the American League is. The Chicago White Sox would be in the playoffs.
I almost spit up my coffee.
3 teams, all of them at or below 500 or below 500, right? 3 teams below 500 in the American League Central would all make the playoffs today.
Right now, just the Royals and White Sox are tied, so one would make it, one wouldn't.
Right.
But yes, the Rays are 7 games ahead of the Royals in the standings, and they both essentially would make the postseason. I mean, the Rays have I think the 4th best record in baseball right now. Only the Cubs, Braves, and Yankees have better records than the Rays. The Guardians are the next wild card team, and they're 5.5 back or 5 back, 6 back, of the Rays. So it is nuts, to say the very least. And David, look, I thought the Tigers were going to be better, but they've lost Sobel for 3 months. So they're going to be pretty average. And we had Eli Zaret on. They've lost a couple other pitchers. So their pitching staff is already banged up. How good are they going to be? I have no idea. The Guardians have trouble scoring. So that's an average team at best. So that whole division looks as if it's going to be, get to 88 and you're in? 86?
Last year, the Reds won a tiebreaker with the Mets at 83 for the final playoff spot in the National League. I wouldn't recommend trying that every year, but Mark, I'll give you 83 right now in the American League.
I think it could get you the final wild card. I do.
I'm right there with you.
Because I can see the Mariners turning it around. I believe in that team.
I do too.
But that means they win the division. We're still talking about 3 wild card teams here.
Yep.
I mean,
let's just give the Rays one of them. Let's just say the Rays finish somewhere between 88 and 94 wins. Great. I hope that's the case. I hope they're the 4 seed. Okay. I hope they're hosting playoff games. It'd be awesome.
Do the Jays, the Orioles, or the Red Sox have it in them to turn this around? I don't know if the Red Sox do right now. Baltimore certainly doesn't look like they do. Toronto, maybe.
But remember, if 83 is the number, how much of a turnaround do you need? I mean, you don't even have to play good baseball. You just have to become decent.
David, there are 5 teams in the American League that have a positive run differential. Obviously, the Yankees and Rays, but the Rays is only 12, by the way. For a team with that record, their run differential is not tremendous. It's 12. Yankees are at 79. The Tigers are next at 10. The next 2 are the Twins, last place in the just amazing AL Central at 3, and the Mariners at 2. And that's where I worry about your Athletics, minus 18, and they're leading the division.
I know. I just have a feeling that will 2 of the 3 divisions in the American League turn into the NFC South?
It's possible. And the one thing about your Athletics, and I'm going to call them that now because let's be honest, we know you can't root for the Mets at this point. They're a disaster.
Not true. I will never not root for the Mets, but continue.
Going into the year, there were a lot of people who predicted the A's may score the most runs or, the top 5 runs in the league. People had a lot of faith in this offense. So how much pitching do you need in a bad American league if you can smash? And many think the A's can.
Also, the A's were one of those teams, I believe, from like mid-June on last year, finished the season just like Baltimore. Remember Baltimore, horrible start, but from like June 1st on, they played like 8 games above 500. And I believe the A's did the same thing. Because the A's had that stretch where they lost like 19 of 20 last year. And then after that, they were a pretty solid team.
By the way, how locked in at around 4 o'clock are you? Maybe not watching it, but paying attention to see if the Braves can win another series.
No doubt.
Don't have to stay up late for it. Afternoon game, 1 o'clock game out west today.
Yep.
On a getaway day to see if the Braves can win another series after winning last night.
Have won every series they've played this year. Remember, the season started in late March. They snuck in at least one series in March.
This American League, David, is a lot like a 24-team playoff in college football.
No, it's more like the 76-team NCAA tournament, okay, where Auburn and Oklahoma this past year, they were the AL Central. Because what were they, like overall a game above 500, but in conference, weren't they like 7-11 or something like that?
Right. By the way, a couple of quick corrections. There were 2 group of 5 teams that made it last year. Tulane and James Madison both made the tournament. Just clearing up a couple of things. We were kind of going quickly and going through and stuff. And Miami was the only ACC team that made it.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Duke, even though they won the conference, didn't get a bid. Yeah.
So just as we were talking about group of 5 teams, someone pointed that out, and I wanted to get to that. Also, a Georgia Tech fan that listens every day goes, I wonder if Georgia Tech would have made it last year.
Well,
don't know.
They were one of the 5 teams that were tied for second, and that's what we wonder. How many of those you had? Virginia at 7-1 and 5 teams at 6-2 in the ACC. If we had a 24-team playoff, we know all 6 are not getting in, but we know more than one's getting in. So how would they have broken that tie?
Right. And, I mentioned about teams never going to the playoff again. And does this change your mind if you root for one of those teams? We had a West Virginia fan text us. He said, currently feel like I'll never see the Mountaineers in a playoff, and especially not a national championship, but that might be more about never being able to spend the money that these other schools have. Well, the one thing you didn't answer, sir, and I would appreciate it if you do. If you don't, that's fine too. Does that mean you're for a 24-team playoff? Because it gives you a hell of a lot better shot to go.
See, I think a lot of fan bases will just want to be able to taste the party. They know the party starts at 7 and they'll be asked to leave by 9. Okay. But, they want to get dressed up occasionally. They want to go. Appetizers are fun, Mark, and they're good. Okay. And they get to see some of the beautiful people. They don't get to really mingle with them, but they at least get to see them. And then they're politely asked to leave. But that's okay. That's better than staying home all night with nothing to do.
Had a couple of nice appetizers last night, David. It was a little spicy for you, but a shrimp dish with a biscuit. And you could mop up the sauce with the biscuit. And anytime you can mop up sauce with the biscuit, David, I think you're in.
I can do my food a little spicier than normal. I can. I particularly like my shrimp spicy.
Then you would have probably loved this dish. I know you love, last night would have been an interesting thing for you because there were 3 of us at dinner. So it made, when there's 2 of you and there's 4 shrimp or whatever, 6 shrimp, 3 and
Right.
3. But if memory serves me right, there were 4 shrimp on this plate and there were 3 of us. Everybody grabbed one. The other one sat there for a bit because there was this, awkwardness of who takes the shrimp. With you at the table, would there have been any awkwardness?
No, I would have immediately said, does somebody want to split that? Because otherwise I'm grabbing it. Or we're ordering another one, which I'm fine with. Spicier
I
than
let
Bang
it
Bang?
sit for a bit and I went for it, David. I took it down.
Nice. Well, you've got rank for a while. Use this whole leukemia bone marrow thing, even if it's little things like you get the 2 shrimp and everybody else at the table gets 1. I mean, press the advantage while you have it, man. Spicier than banging shrimp?
Yes, slightly different.
Then I would have been fine.
Texter says, I remember West Virginia had a shot at the national title to play Ohio State, but they lost to Pittsburgh 13-9. Do better. Ouch. Ouch.
Yeah, a 4-7 Pitt team. Wannstedt on crutches. It was such a bad visual for West Virginia. They're home, best team they've had in 50 years. Pitt's got a bad team.
I remember that Friday show, and I'm like, come on, David, it's the backyard brawl. They've got a shot at this game. You can't, because it was a 24-point spread, I believe.
It was a Saturday night.
But it was 24. Okay. I think that was the number.
Easy.
It was a huge, it was, if it wasn't 24, it was close.
No, it was at least 24.
We're discussing the game, and I'm like, David, it's a backyard brawl. I mean, these teams hate each other. Come on now, you got to give Pitt a shot. And I mean, he damn near screamed at me. He chastised me for 3 minutes.
Come on, Mark. Steve Slayton, Noel Devine, Pat White. This is a bad Pitt team. Okay, yeah, they'll play hard, blah, blah, blah. They're not going to score many points. This game's got 38-10 written all over it.
Yep. And we were both stunned on Monday. I mean, we're texting into the early morning hours of Sunday of that game going, what the hell happened?
It's how LSU got in the national title game against Ohio State in 2007. West Virginia wins that game. It's Ohio State, West Virginia. Here's the other thing. Rich Rod stays at West Virginia and doesn't go to Michigan.
The Rich Rod years in Ann Arbor, they were glorious. Another texter on the Pelican Roofing of Florida text line says, FSU fan, hate 2014 playoff. And yes, I know we suck right now. I'm giving it up for the college football fan today. They are taking the sport over their team right now. I'm amazed and I'm impressed by it. We'll see if Seth Everett impresses us next.
Mark Miller for Sleep Treatment Direct. They are helping me with sleep apnea. And by helping me, I mean curing me. No more CPAP machine. No more snoring. No more tossing. No more waking up exhausted. Their expert team got me the right treatment, fast and hassle-free. If you want to feel energized and get rid of your snoring, call Sleep Treatment Direct today. 444-1741. That's 239-444-1741. Sleep Treatment Direct. Sleep safe and
The
sound.
Floormeisters just doesn't sell Cortec and carpet. They also sell a lot of wood. And what better time than now to stop in and see the nice folks at Floormeisters for some new hardwood for your home. With white oak wood starting at $4.99 a square foot, that makes it affordable for everyone. With 10 colors to choose from, they have a color for everyone. So stop in, 6281 Naples Boulevard, right next to Costco, or go to the web. It's floormeisters.com. Floormeisters.com. Floormeisters, just keeping it real.
American Paint Supplies, celebrating 30 years in Naples, is proud to be the exclusive Farrow and Ball dealer in Southwest Florida. The best thing to come from the UK since the Beatles, Farrow and Ball has the colors and paints at American Paint Supplies. See why all the designers and painters choose Farrow and Ball. For 30 years, American Paint Supplies provides the perfect pairing of service and expertise on 6100 Shirley Street in Naples off of Pine Ridge or online at AmericanPaintSupplies.net. American Paint Supplies is your one-stop shop for all your coating needs.
The Cape Coral Police Department is growing, and they want you to be a part of it. They're hiring new officers. Starting pay is between $74,000 and $90,000, depending on your experience. And with a $10,000 hiring bonus, you could be making $100,000. Enjoy paid holidays, off-duty details, plenty of OT opportunities. They're also hiring dispatchers and professional staff. So go to capecops.com. capecops.com. Be brave, be best, be Cape.
Mark Miller for Sleep Treatment Direct. They are helping me with sleep apnea. And by helping me, I mean curing me. No more CPAP machine, no more snoring, no more tossing, no more waking up exhausted. Their expert team got me the right treatment fast and hassle-free. If you want to feel energized and get rid of your snoring, call Sleep Treatment Direct today. 444-1741. That's 239-444-1741. Sleep Treatment Direct. Sleep safe and sound.
If you're a business who targets men, please know there is no better and more economical way to reach your target audience than us at Miller & Moulton. So let us help you make money. You can reach out to Mark at that Mark Miller or me at the David Moulton on X, or text us at 21,000. We have a proven product, a good reputation, and lots of quality segments that we can attach your company's name to. Miller & Moulton, we're like that old pizza box. You've had the rest, now try the best. Miller & Moulton, millerandmoulton.com.
This is Miller and Moulton.
Morning, Seth.
Good morning, gents.
How are you?
Good. You're looking good.
Thank you. Hair's starting to come back. Last day here in Tampa. I go home later this evening.
I saw. That's great.
Very excited. Although I have to be honest, I mean, I love being in a city again. It's been so damn long since I've actually lived in a real city.
Yeah.
It's nice where there's a vibe and restaurants and, you know, the whole thing. But,
I hear you. I went yesterday because I had no, school's over. I'm done with my semester, and Arsenal played in the semifinals of the Champions League, and there's a watch party, and it's an officially sanctioned watch party. And I went, and it was packed, and it was so much fun.
It's
and I was still home by 5:30.
Right. Did they clinch? So they clinched the EPL yesterday?
No. So they yesterday made the championship game of the Champions League.
That was Champions League. I apologize because aren't
they
like
can win a
couple games? They got to win one more to clinch the Premier League.
I think it's two
more, because I saw a little bit of I saw the standings the other day. I was watching something.
Yep.
And Man City still has a shot.
Man City has a shot, but they dropped points on Monday.
Oh, did they? Okay.
So Arsenal controls their destiny. They have 3 games left. You win out, you win.
Gotcha.
But that's the 24th. So the 24th and the 30th, they're both weekends. So I have iHeart. So I'll be here. What in the world?
What?
Oh, I saw his leg sticking up.
Yeah, well, deal.
I'm going to Boston tomorrow.
Oh, sorry.
Congratulations.
Thanks. I'm leaving tomorrow. I come back Monday.
With a new degree, right?
With a master's. Yes. Gonna hang it in my wall.
Good for you.
Thanks.
Do you have a preference? PSG or
Or Bayern. Bayern has Harry Kane, who has been a thorn in Arsenal's side. So PSG would be better. They're not going to be the favorite, either one.
Something about Bayern I'm not a fan of. I don't know if it's just that I don't like Germany's teams. I don't root for them. Those are probably my two least favorite teams in all of soccer, those two.
PSG and Bayern?
Yeah.
Well, then I hope we beat either one.
I will be rooting for you. I truly will.
David, I was telling Mark I went to a watch
Here
party.
we go.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton, coming at you from the Floor Meister Studios. Floor Meisters, keeping it real. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
Halfway home on this hump day, at least in Jacksonville and Tampa St. Pete. Final hour of the show, live Oak Lake City, surrounding areas. Punta Gorda, Port Charlotte, Venice, surrounding areas, and the old stomping grounds in the 239. Miller and Moulton, millerandmoulton.com, Miller_Moulton on X. We welcome Seth Everett once again. And Seth, we're celebrating today. It's Mark's final day at Hope House in Tampa, but also we can add you to the celebratory list in a different way. You're picking up a degree over the weekend.
Yeah. Getting my master's degree. Something I did about 18 months ago. So it's why I've been not around and working as much as I have, but it's over. And these last 3 days, I've had absolutely zero work, and I couldn't even do the Hall of Justice until today. So I have been screwing around. I went to an Arsenal watch party, and I was like, "This is what life is like when you don't have to work. This is great."
Well,
this was for teaching, right? This was so you can do more as an educator. Because I'm not being a jerk here. At our age, you're now in the 50 club.
Yeah.
The thought of me going back to school and during COVID, I went and got my real estate license. That's like a few weeks, I mean, that's not real school. You went to school for years here to do this. So was it all on the education thing? Was there something you always wanted to do with this? Because I can't imagine having to go through the grind you did. I truly can't.
Well, it's one of those neat things, and I appreciate you saying that. It's I've been teaching for 12 years. But as an adjunct, I taught at St. John's, I taught at Seton Hall, I taught at Syracuse, and now I teach at Montclair State, and I love it. And if I ever want to do it full time, you need a master's. And it's never been a part of a conversation. I once asked one of the schools, it was Columbia, that they had an opening. And someone at Columbia reached out to me and they said, "Oh, you'd be perfect for this." I was like, "Oh, Columbia, pretty cool." And I went and I filled out the application, and they wouldn't even meet with me because I didn't have a master's. So now it just puts me in the conversation, and we'll see where it goes.
Well, congrats though.
Thanks. It was an undertaking. I sent you guys the videos. I had to make some documentary videos, which was pretty wild.
Huh.
I may need a video class from you because I noticed when we come on the air on Twitch and YouTube there with this StreamYard, there's an introduction video that we could play. And well, I don't know if that's something I could do on my own. I would probably have to farm that out to someone. So I may need a video class from you, Seth. Yesterday was National Concert Day, Seth. And so we asked Pete, I asked David his 3 favorite. I gave mine. I know you might go Prince, and Prince. If I only allow you to use Prince once, what would be your next 2 best concerts, favorite concerts you've been to?
I would have to say Lenny Kravitz. I saw Lenny Kravitz live.
Where?
I saw James Brown live. I would maybe Springsteen. I've seen Springsteen once. That was pretty amazing. I saw Billy Joel. I recently,
once again, we asked you for 2.
Oh, sorry.
You've
And you're
rattled
already
off
at
Yeah, they're
5.
kind of. I just don't have a ranking. I saw Prince 22 times, in 35 years. So it is Prince, Prince, and Prince.
We understand.
Some
we
of those
do.
weren't whole concerts though. Like he played "Good Morning America" from Bryant Park in Manhattan. I was living in Manhattan at the time, and we went to see him at like 7:30 in the morning. Like that counts. That was one.
It's my biggest musical regret when Prince played at the Super Bowl.
Uh-huh.
He did his press conference. And as you well know, Prince doesn't do press conferences. And you know the Super Bowl gig. We were on in the afternoon at that time, but we were there early in the morning, and you're taping every damn interview you can get. You're just there to get whomever you can get. And I don't recall who we were interviewing, but I didn't go up to the press conference. And he played 3 or 4 songs. And I, to this day, I kick every single day I kick myself for that. It's like I could have seen, because I would have counted that, Seth. That would have been, hey, saw Prince.
Yeah.
Saw him perform, whether it was 3 songs or 3 hours, got to see him.
So that night, he played a one night only at the Hard Rock in Fort Lauderdale. And my then wife and I, this is pre-kids, we flew down that afternoon, went to see the concert, got up at 6 the next morning and went back to work and didn't miss a day of work. We pulled a rock star move. That was so much fun.
Wow.
That's what you do when you don't have children.
Right.
No responsibilities.
And you've got $30 in your wallet still.
Right.
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 So that was, you had time and money, and that was going to last another hour and a half.
Yep.
Yeah.
And it was in February. So it was just it was on a whim. It was just, we decided it and did it an hour later. It was great.
Seth Everett, Sports with Friends Hall of Justice, joining us once again here on Miller and Moulton. Thought of you earlier in the week with the passing of John Sterling. You only have time for one story. What's your best?
I can't. No. That'll be off
second
there.
best.
The second best.
Hold on. You can't amend it?
No, I know the story. He texted it to us. I will ask for the second best story because I don't want that story right now. It's not the right time. A year from now, perfect. Right now, we got to get through a few days first.
Too soon.
Okay.
Yeah.
Exactly.
No, John Sterling was always very kind and always was interested in what you were doing. I remember first time I met John Sterling was when I was with the Mariners, and he was coming into town with the Yankees, and someone introduced me. I think it was Sweeney Murdy introduced me to John Sterling, and over the years, hey Seth, how are you? Like he just knew your name, and he meets so many people, and he was so magnanimous. I thought the shtick was great. I do think, and this is kind of a controversial take, he got the Yankee job at the exact right time because George Steinbrenner's health declined. George Steinbrenner changed announcers like he changed managers. And if George was still with all his faculties, John Sterling would not have been there for 30 years. Because Spencer Ross wasn't. Phil Rizzuto was eventually let go. Frank Messer was shown the door. Every announcer was sent. And then when Hank and Hal took over, now it's just Hal. When Hank and Hal took over, they said, my dad loves John and Susan, and they stayed forever. And it's the same thing with Brian Cashman. And it's the same thing to a lesser extent. But with Sterling, George Steinbrenner was into Sterling at the exact right time. And it was great and this is not a knock on John. I adore John and I loved him personally, but John Sterling got the gig at the right time.
Well, two things. Also, shortly after he got the gig, George got suspended for nearly 3 years.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that helped John.
Mm-hmm.
And the other thing was that when George came back, he came back right at the time that the Yankees started
winning.
Yes. And so then they go on that dynastic run. And so then in the 2000s, when George's health falters, the other thing, and George was into this, George and John Sterling had the same birthday.
Yes. July 4th.
Correct.
Yep.
By the way, George Steinbrenner, not in the Hall of Fame. John Sterling, not in the broadcast wing in the Hall of Fame.
And has never been nominated.
He was a finalist 2 or 3 times.
Oh, okay. Then what I read was incorrect. That's fine. That's what social media.
That's a joke, by the way, to me. Whether you like the shtick or don't like it. 36 years for one team. Are you kidding me?
And how many years was he with the Braves?
Yeah, he did like 6 with the Braves.
He had a remarkable career. He has done it all. He's one of the pioneers of sports talk radio before WFAN.
Yes, in New York. Yes, on a little 570
WMCA.
AM station. Yep.
I saw I think a quote, but I guess Aaron Judge suggested that before they play Sinatra's New York at Yankee Stadium, they play Sterling's The Yankees Win. And I'm like, you know what? Yeah, I've got no problem with that.
Yeah, I don't hate it. I mean, there's a statue in the center field at Safeco Field for Dave Niehaus. It doesn't bother me. That's an interesting idea. Yankees do that kind of stuff, right? I mean, you knew Monday night like they were going to do everything perfect. They're very good at honoring their history, and the Yankees are the Yankees. And I thought Susan Waldman was eloquent. I thought Michael Kay was eloquent, and yeah, I thought everybody handled it as well as you possibly could. The guy had a life well lived, and it was a celebration.
It's a little thing, but if you go to a ball game, unless it's stifling hot, the players don't normally come out of the dugout and stand in front of the dugout, okay, for the anthem. When they did the remembrance for Sterling, the Yankees as the team got out of the dugout and stood in front of it.
Yeah, very classy. Yeah, just the whole thing was just exudes class. And I thought Paul Olden was great. You know, he's the public address guy. He was perfect. Just the right tone. Everything just was good.
I think you're right. Everything you said about the Yankees and how they do that. I do think hearing Judge make the comment that he wants that Sterling thing before Sinatra, I'm guessing Judge was the one that said, we're going up here and standing. And I don't think anybody's,
maybe, yeah.
I think if he said that, they went, oh, okay.
But that's what a captain does. In all sports, it doesn't matter what sport you have. You name your captains for a reason, and he's their captain. You know, this is like when Bob Shepard died. Jeter said that for all of his at bats, he wanted Bob Shepard's announcement of his name.
Yep.
He just did, and everybody said sure. So I can't see why they wouldn't. There's no real reason. What I loved was all the baseball announcers like Len Casper and Gary Cohen that said, did like their John Sterling impressions. I thought that was really, really sharp.
10 seconds. Sports with Friends or Hall of Justice, go.
Hall of Justice, Star Wars, the Darth Maul series. It's a review.
Okay. And you did that in 6 seconds. Well done, sir. Well done. He's Seth Everett. He's getting his master's over the weekend. We're not going to show him much more respect next week. Maybe just a little.
I'll come in with a pipe.
Paint Supplies for nearly 30 years is your one-stop shop for all your coating needs. If you are a designer, a contractor, a professional painter, or a weekend warrior, American Paint Supplies is the place where experts go to get expert solutions. At 6100 Shirley Street in Naples off of Pine Ridge, American Paint Supplies delivers the best solutions with the best products with the best support. Meet Gene and his team today at American Paint Supplies. Call 239-566-2700. That's 566-2700 or online at AmericanPaintSupplies.net.
The Floormeisters just doesn't sell Cortec and carpet. They also sell a lot of wood. And what better time than now to stop in and see the nice folks at Floormeisters for some new hardwood for your home. With white oak wood starting at $4.99 a square foot, that makes it affordable for everyone. With 10 colors to choose from, they have a color for everyone. So stop in, 6281 Naples Boulevard, right next to Costco, or go to the web. It's floormeisters.com. Floormeisters.com. Floormeisters, just keeping it real.
Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie, John, and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at pelicanroofingcompany.com. CCC 1332512.
The Cape Coral Police Department is growing, and they want you to be a part of it. They're hiring new officers. Starting pay is between $74,000 and $90,000, depending on your experience. And with a $10,000 hiring bonus, you could be making $100,000. Enjoy paid holidays, off-duty details, plenty of OT opportunities. They're also hiring dispatchers and professional staff. So go to capecops.com. capecops.com. Be brave, be best, be Cape.
This is Miller and Moulton.
American
The Floormeisters.
Miller and Moulton, the starting five. That's what we do next.
The Floormeisters.
Agree with the coach at all. It's a bunch of crap what he's trying to spin.
The Floormeisters just does. The Floormeisters just.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
21 minutes after the hour. Miller and Moulton, millerandmoulton.com, Miller_Moulton on X. I want to make a correction. I keep saying Mark's at Hope House. It's at Hope Lodge. Want to make sure, Moffitt and everyone attached to them gets proper credit. So, and it's Mark's final day at the lodge. And, he'll have appointments and it'll be a lifelong thing, but it's been a remarkable 14 weeks and congratulations, buddy.
Yep, no doubt. No doubt. Obviously I have my donor to thank, and one day I may meet that person. The way the rules go, I cannot until 2 years post-transplant. We were able to, I guess, send. They essentially just scanned it, but we wrote a letter to him, but it has to be, fairly anonymous. You can't put your name in there or anything like that, but just a thank you. And like I've said before, if you're between the ages of 18 and 39, so all of us old people can't do it. And you have if you're healthy and can donate and donate tomorrow, you can save a life. I can't thank that person. Actually, that man, I did find out it was a man. Don't know how old he is. Don't know where he's from. I know I believe from Europe, but I don't know where because they said it was international. I think they said it was European, but I cannot say enough. And more people in Europe do it than in the States. We obviously have a lot more people here. It's just not something that's done. And I was blown away because I've met a few people who have the same form of leukemia that I had. And in a little text chat with them, one of them works for like a D3 football team. He's a volunteer coach and set up a whole thing with the team and that university. And they got like 300-400 kids to see if they're matches for someone, which I thought was fantastic, and would love to figure out a way at some point to copy that idea in Southwest Florida because it's life-changing.
Well, obviously, we're all beyond happy, and
modern medicine's a wonderful thing. Technology in this instance is something, man. It is something.
And I think if either one of us goes further, we'll get a little emotional. So I'll change the subject to something very awkward. If we did a poll question today, because we were talking college football last hour a little bit, to me, Mark, this is the question, because you said on the text line that there's a lot of college football fans that are like, yeah, 20, I don't like 24. I don't like 24. And the question needs to be not 16 or 24, 12 or 24.
Okay. I see what you're saying.
Because that's where we're at right now. Petiti won't go to 16 unless Sankey is willing to tie a 3 to 5 year agreement to it in which we are getting to 24. And so that's why we're still at 12. I mean, this is a game of poker. They're staring at one another. And so that, to me, is which would you prefer, 12 or 24? Now, I think we're getting 24. I don't know if it'll be for the 27 season or if it'll be later. But I think Petiti's going to win because he's already, I think, got more conference commissioners on his side than Sankey does. So I think he's ultimately going to wear Greg down. But also, more television inventory for more networks. Tough to get a no vote when that's what you're putting on the table. But Mark, that to me is really the question, because the other thing that you have found out on the text line is it's your alma mater, Michigan State, a Gopher fan, a West Virginia fan, who
they don't have visions of, in any format, that they're going to play for a natty or even be a semifinalist. But they have virtually no dreams of playing a playoff game at 12. Whereas obviously at 24, I mean, if you're a Power 4 school and you put a 9-3 season on the board, I mean,
You're in. I mean, you're in, David.
I would think so. I mean, your schedule would have to be horrendous to not get in.
Even then, I think it's difficult at 9-3. I mean, because I think there are going to be plenty of 8-4 teams in a 2014 playoff. I do.
So, and even though it doesn't sound 24, man, that's big. That's huge. By the way, it's what FCS has been doing for a few years now. And for those that like FCS football, they don't complain about the playoffs at all. And that's potentially you have to win 5 games to win the Natty.
All right, a couple of things. One, I got to give CBW on YouTube credit. I love this snarky poll question. Worst idea, 76 basketball, 24 football. I love that question. I mean, that is right to the core of what Miller and Moulton are about. Yep. Not a positive at all. What's worse? What bothers you more? No. This bothers me more. So thank you for that. That's wonderful. But the other point that he makes is there'll be no more big regular season games. Maybe with consequence, I understand what you're saying, but I could argue it the other way. With 24, it gives teams far greater leeway to schedule really good games, because what will then, I think, maybe I'm wrong, David, but to me, at that point, when right now driving revenue is everything for these schools. And yesterday we were going through some schedules. Notre Dame, Penn State, and Miami all have very easy schedules based on last year's team's winning percentage. And Ohio State, Indiana, and Michigan have much tougher ones. The SEC all pretty good. But for instance, Florida opens, and I don't know how many tough games Florida's going to play because Florida State's always on the schedule. But the first 2 games are Campbell and one of the directional F schools, and not even directional, an FA or an FI. I don't remember. I think it was FAU. But they're 2 wins. Well, I've said it for a long time. I won't go to a college football game in early September because it's too damn hot. Now, you Gator fans who live for your college football, how excited are you to go see them play Campbell? Is that the game you give your tickets away if you're a season ticket holder? I think with revenue being so important, David, I actually think 24 could get more competitive early season games, not less.
Mark, you are more right than you realize. And I would say to CBW, okay, because he's also saying we'll never get another big regular season game again. In fact, here's why you're wrong. When the season ended last year, what did Sarkisian in Texas say? So because we were dumb enough to schedule Ohio State, we're not in the playoff? Well, then you can guarantee we won't be scheduling games like that anymore, because that's getting in at 12. 24? Not even a thought. Not even a thought. So I actually think you'll get more. Non-conference in September, you'll get more. Now, we can debate if the October and November games mean as much and what have you, but,
But we proved it now. At 12, it means every game means a little bit more at 12. When it was 4, we proved this a long time ago. This whole every game matters mantra is a bunch of bunk.
Yeah.
Because we were at week 6, and we told you what teams were left at 4. Now, there's more at 12. But the every game matter thing, that's only for certain teams. It's not for every team. Miller and Moulton. Jason Sobel to talk some golf in 30 minutes. Thanks for listening.
Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie John and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at pelicanroofingcompany.com. CCC 1332512.
The Floormeisters just doesn't sell Cortec and carpet. They also sell a lot of wood. And what better time than now to stop in and see the nice folks at Floormeisters for some new hardwood for your home. With white oak wood starting at $4.99 a square foot, that makes it affordable for everyone. With 10 colors to choose from, they have a color for everyone. So stop in, 6281 Naples Boulevard, right next to Costco, or go to the web. It's floormeisters.com. Floormeisters.com. Floormeisters, just keeping it real.
American Paint Supplies, for nearly 30 years, is your one-stop shop for all your coating needs. If you are a designer, a contractor, a professional painter, or a weekend warrior, American Paint Supplies is the place where experts go to get expert solutions. At 6100 Shirley Street in Naples off of Pine Ridge, American Paint Supplies delivers the best solutions with the best products with the best support. Meet Gene and his team today at American Paint Supplies. Call 239-566-2700. That's 566-2700 or online at AmericanPaintSupplies.net. Mark Miller for Sleep Treatment Direct. They are helping me with sleep apnea. And by helping me, I mean curing me. No more CPAP machine. No more snoring. No more tossing. No more waking up exhausted. Their expert team got me the right treatment fast and hassle-free. If you want to feel energized and get rid of your snoring, call Sleep Treatment Direct today. 444-1741. That's 239-444-1741. Sleep Treatment Direct. Sleep safe and
This
sound.
is Miller and Moulton.
You know, Ken, that's funny and it hurts at the same time. I gotta tell you, I really do. But if I could cook up some meth, we'd be in. Similar situation, right? That's why he started making it to make the money to fight the cancer. Or to pay for it, rather, but yes.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
22 minutes till the top of the hour. Jason Sobel, who covers golf, talks golf for a living. In fact, he's finishing up his golf show right now. He'll join us as soon as it's over here on Miller and Moulton.
You know, David, I don't mean to upset listeners, but hypocrisies happen from time to time. And I don't know how you can't find a little hypocrisy in this text. I just want you to listen and you can tell me if I'm off base. See, now the good news is for the listener, I don't have your name. I'm not taking a shot at you personally. I'm more taking a shot at college football fan here. I want you to understand that. Pelican Roofing of Florida text line when talking about the number of teams in the playoff. I'm guessing this guy is a 12-team playoff guy. Gators fan here. Hate the 24-team playoff. That has nothing to do with hypocrisy. Here we go. Go God, go Gators, and screw Sunbelt Billy. Can you have go God and screw Sunbelt Billy in the same text?
No, especially not for what Sunbelt Billy is guilty of. You know, I mean, he didn't commit a felony, although losing at home to South Florida may be considered one. So, no. What one would think with the first one, you need to be a little nicer in the third one. That's just a thought.
So more texters, 12 is good, even though ND got left out. That's on them for losing 2 games. 24 is pointless. We had some bad blowouts. So, I mean, there's that. Hey, the more teams you add, the more 116 college basketball games you get, David.
Well, the other thing that you get, which once again, it's a TV show and it's all about money. What do you get with 24? You get 9 through 16 hosting 17 through 24. And then what do you turn around and get the next round? You get 1 through 8 hosting who's advanced. You get home games. Home games, not the New Mexico Bowl. You get home games. You get largely sold out crowds. Home fans that are excited. You could badmouth the game all you want. Okay? The 14 seed is thrilled to host the 18 seed. Thrilled.
Let me ask you a question, David, because I know we've thought about this before, and I think we've actually brought it up, but it just hit me there when you mentioned the New Mexico Bowl. Because some bowl games will still exist, and they'll be largely for group of 5 teams that have no shot at making the playoff. But David, if you lose in the first round in that, 9 versus 24 round, and are they going to then send those teams to the Outback Bowl? And how much are the bowl people? Because the one thing that the coaches didn't say, this all started, there's a group of coaches in, I don't know, the American Coaching Football Association, something like that. And this is where I read their article, and their suggestions were 24, no conference championship games. Army Navy gets left alone as a standalone game, although they say there should be other games on that day, meaning playoff games, and that the playoff should wrap up by the second week of January. I don't love 24. Every other idea I'm down with. And if I've got to sacrifice from 16, which is inevitable, to 24,
Yeah, Mark, we're losing you.
get rid of that. Damn it, I made a really good point, and I know I broke up for all of that.
Yeah, I know, but now you're back so quickly.
But how do the bowl games go away, one? And two, how hard are all these CEOs of the Sugar Bowl? Well, the Sugar Bowl would stay in the rotation, but you know what I mean. How many of the Outback Bowl, Gator Bowl,
Right.
The 2 bowls in Orlando, how many of these bowl people are going to be lobbying ADs hard saying, you can't take away our bowl games?
Right. This is my theory, and I could be wrong. First off, you have a lot of bowl games that don't even involve teams that would make the playoff. A lot of them. So you'd have surprisingly few bowl games affected. Secondly, we've already started to have it. Look how quickly we lost interest in the conference championship games. 2 years. It took 2 years to basically kill the conference championship games. 2 years. We're already seeing it. Teams don't want to play in bowl games. Kids don't want to play in bowl games. Hell, there are quite a few coaches who don't even want to accept and go to the bowl games. They'd rather be recruiting.
Right. And that's where, to me, if you try to say, the 9 versus 24 losers going to the Outback Bowl, how many of those kids are going to say, go pound sand? I'm done.
Every single one of them. Every single one of them. The only kids who'd be interested in playing are the kids that don't play. Nope. Hey, can't have it all. I mean, once again, we're not willing to sacrifice. Now, I can see what you're saying, that you'd rather keep it at 12 and keep all the bowl games. Okay. The 40-something bowl games doesn't interest me. Doesn't interest me at all.
And to be frank, for Miller and Moulton, the bowl games haven't interested us in a while.
Right. Right. And I did the Sun Bowl for, 15 out of 20 years. And there was nobody playing in the Sun Bowl who's going to play in a playoff. I don't know how many of the teams who played in the Sun Bowl would have made the 2014 playoff, and the game's on New Year's Eve.
How many Sun Bowls did you actually enjoy, though?
Well, you know me, I'm strange. Once the game starts,
I got that part.
But
I got that part. The travel, going to El Paso. I'm guessing from the end. Let me ask you this: how many did you enjoy from the last day of the SEC? From when the championship ended until when the game started in El Paso, if you know what I mean.
I would probably say about 6 of the 15. The first couple, because I had not done it. And then, the Canes were in a couple games. Notre Dame was in a couple games. There was a couple of 10-win teams, a 10-win Arizona State team, a 10-win UCLA team. Okay, that interested me. Some players I wanted to see. I mean, I saw Trubisky's last college game heading into the draft. And in fact, the guys who went 2 and 3 in that draft were playing against one another. And it's Stanford and North Carolina. That game interested me, but I'm a nerd.
So but I do wonder, David, this coaching group, obviously they're not the ones getting lobbied by the commissioner of the bowls. The ADs and presidents might be. I'm just, David, I'm with you, but I don't know how much power, whether it's ESPN, who loves these bowl games. They make money off the bowl games. They get good viewing on the bowl games. And I know they'd get better viewing on 9 to 24. So, but with 24 teams, what is that? Is that 23 games we get? Is that how that? Yeah, that's how that works, right?
Right.
So we're going to lose games.
Well, yeah, it's 12 extra games. I mean, a 12-team playoff, we have 11 games. 24-team playoff, we have 23.
But but in the grand scheme of things, ESPN, I still think some of the non-relevant bowls would stay. I think it's, a reward for the American, for Conference USA, for the MAC, for Mountain West. I still think some of those teams would play in bowl games. But like the Outback, what happens to the Outback Bowl? Doesn't that have to go away? Or does that just become, because if we're given home games in the first 2 rounds, in theory, that's what's going to happen.
Yeah, I just think we're going to end up with teams playing in bowl games who used to play in bowl games that were 1 level down. And now by default, they're in this game. Oh, okay. Congratulations. But you're right. ESPN's not going to want to lose the programming. They make money on those games. In fact, I mean, think about it. ESPN's been selling off some playoff games. Some of the bad matchups, they've been selling off to Turner. So, a bigger playoff, first off, ESPN will have less of it in all likelihood because it won't be able to afford to buy up the whole playoff. So that's another thing. That doesn't interest ESPN. Who's the SEC in bed with? ESPN. Sankey's trying to take care of his partner, his one and only broadcast partner. So, there's a lot of tentacles to this. A lot. I think it could stay at 12 a little while. I mean, by a little while, I think this season and 1 or 2 more. But there's a lot to this. Like you talked about, we losing bowl games? If so, which ones? More
Your
than
point
one
about
network?
if we're losing conference championship games,
right? Yeah.
Okay. If you're one of the networks, if you're Fox or NBC, it's getting the Big Ten championship game. What games am I getting to replace that? I mean, there's a lot to this.
Totally. There's a Fox versus ESPN component. Now the CBS merger is going down, which is basically CBS and Turner combined. Okay. Instead of CBS being out of the playoffs, CBS might be a big part of future playoffs. We haven't even gotten the streaming services involved yet. I mean, trust me, there are people out there saying to both Petiti and Sankey, do you know how much money you guys are leaving on the table? If you were to do this like the National Football League, you'd triple your revenue. Get with the program and do it right. Now, it may not be in the best interest of the fan, but I mean, when's the last time leagues and schools turned down 3 times as much money?
And David, to the West Virginia fan that texted in, I think my alma mater actually has enough money there. We'll see how they spend it. But to all of the lower Big Ten schools, you want to be Indiana? What do you need? You need more money. I mean, Indiana proved they got it. I mean, what did we find out yesterday? And we may have known a couple days before that, but Mendoza, who did he get his check from? Mark Cuban. Where did he go to school? Indiana. You need money to win. That's it. Period.
Who's the Big Ten coach who was quoted earlier in the week as saying 2 years from now it's going to cost you $50 million to field a team?
And we're not making these guys employees. Why?
I'm just, so if it's going to cost that much, where do you think this is going? And quite frankly, he's going to have to go.
And look at the NCAA is trying to make it 5 years of eligibility. Miller and Moulton are for that. We are. But David, right off the bat, said, yeah, I don't know how it wins in court.
I'm all for
So
it.
if it doesn't win in court, what does that mean? To keep Diego Pavia in college for 18 years, he going to get paid.
For at least 16 of them. More than he's making with the Ravens over the next 3 years, and that's if he can stick. Boy, he was a fun player on Saturdays. Do you see how small he is when he's on the field with guys on Sunday? Holy mackers. Man. I mean, he looks like a Spud Webb out there. I mean, he looks little. Man.
Tough to play that position when you're little.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Man, there are exceptions, and he's actually a guy I loved watching play on Saturday. I love his moxie. I love that he's a little bit of a you-know-what.
Yeah. Yeah. Fit Saturday's perfect. And fit the little engine that could Saturday school, too. Perfect.
Yes, he did. I think he fits the CFL perfect, too, not the NFL, but that's for another day.
I might pay to see him play if he played in the UFL and I was nearby. Maybe.
There it is.
Maybe.
He can't resist, guys. He cannot resist. Maple Leafs general manager talk coming up in the Pro Hour, but Jason Sobel to talk golf. That's next, Miller and Moulton.
American Paint Supplies, for nearly 30 years, is your one-stop shop for all your coating needs. If you are a designer, a contractor, a professional painter, or a weekend warrior, American Paint Supplies is the place where experts go to get expert solutions. At 6100 Shirley Street in Naples off of Pine Ridge, American Paint Supplies delivers the best solutions with the best products with the best support. Meet Gene and his team today at American Paint Supplies. Call 239-566-2700. That's 566-2700 or online at AmericanPaintSupplies.net.
Well, Floor Meisters just doesn't sell Cortec and carpet. They also sell a lot of wood. And what better time than now to stop in and see the nice folks at Floor Meisters for some new hardwood for your home. With white oak wood starting at $4.99 a square foot, that makes it affordable for everyone. With 10 colors to choose from, they have a color for everyone. So stop in, 6281 Naples Boulevard, right next to Costco, or go to the web. It's floormeisters.com. Floormeisters.com. Floor Meisters, just keeping it real.
Mark Miller for Sleep Treatment Direct. They are helping me with sleep apnea. And by helping me, I mean curing me. No more CPAP machine. No more snoring. No more tossing. No more waking up exhausted. Their expert team got me the right treatment, fast and hassle-free. If you want to feel energized and get rid of your snoring, call Sleep Treatment Direct today. 444-1741. That's 239-444-1741. Sleep Treatment Direct. Sleep safe and sound.
The Cape Coral Police Department is growing, and they want you to be a part of it. They're hiring new officers. Starting pay is between $74,000 and $90,000, depending on your experience. And with a $10,000 hiring bonus, you could be making $100,000. Enjoy paid holidays, off-duty details, plenty of OT opportunities. They're also hiring dispatchers and professional staff. So go to capecops.com. capecops.com. Be brave, be best, be Cape.
Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie John and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at pelicanroofingcompany.com. CCC 1332512.
If you're a business who targets men, please know there is no better and more economical way to reach your target audience than us at Miller and Moulton. So let us help you make money. You can reach out to Mark at that Mark Miller or me at the David Moulton on X, or text us at 21,000. We have a proven product, a good reputation, and lots of quality segments that we can attach your company's name to. Miller and Moulton, we're like that old pizza box. You've had the rest. Now try the best. Miller and Moulton, millerandmoulton.com.
This is Miller and Moulton.
don't need a kerfuffle today, and there is a kerfuffle today. Son of a gun. Usually the show with the new way I download it is up at about 1/4 to 25 after each hour. Hour 2 is still not up. It's the last thing I really need today.
Mark, I was just thinking between Cameron Young, the LIV guys, Rom settling with DP, DeChambeau saying, I guess I'll go YouTube. I just thought there was a segment.
Oh, I can. I just want to, Trey Wingo's not a golf guy, but he basically went scorched earth and said Phil is dead to anything PGA Tour forever. I want to ask Jason Sobel if he agrees.
Who said that?
Trey Wingo went scorched earth on Phil. Said they would never, ever take. He's dead to them. He burned every bridge. He blew it up. He does a podcast. I saw it on X. So, I can always do a golf segment. Hell, I got to pick my team for this week. God, blew it last week.
Aren't they playing Quail Hollow? Because
Yeah,
if so,
sure. Yeah.
It's a tough week not to take Rory. He loves his scores.
And he hasn't played. Let's take him. Why not? I'm not taking him all year. I'll take Roy. He's on my team. Look at that. God, the picture they have on him from this. Make sure you call this guy, Raj, if you aren't already.
Yeah.
The picture they have on this website I use for this fantasy thing, it's like a 20-year-old Rory with the big bushy hair. I mean, it is so old. All right, I'll let you guys pick my team. Give me another A player. Whoever you want. You just go.
I'm getting voicemail, but I'll try right back.
Yeah, because he's literally just gotten off the air.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton, coming at you from the Floor Meister Studios. Floor Meisters, keeping it real. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
It is the pro hour, the bonus hour, the fourth and final hour of Miller and Moulton in Jacksonville and Tampa St. Pete. Thanks so much for being with us. Miller and Moulton, millerandmoulton.com, Miller_Moulton on X. Good, bad, and ugly. What's on tap? Today was the day when. It's all coming up in a little more than 35 minutes time.
Got to make sure I bring my fire stick with me. I'm just kind of looking around the room going, we've got this thing pretty much empty. It's like, I got to make sure I don't miss anything.
Nope.
Got to make sure we get everything out of here. Dot the T's, cross the I's, and goodbye.
I ain't coming back for a while.
I don't ever want to be back in this place. No offense. And they've been wonderful. I know I'll be back in Tampa quite a bit, but if I'm here, that means things have gone horribly wrong. So I don't ever want to see the Hope Lodge again. Although I did tell them downstairs for one of my trips up, I plan on coming back and I'm going to try to cook for everybody here and make dinner for them. Because while I've been here, David, they've had companies come in and volunteers come in, some students, and they're going to cook a homemade dinner for everybody. And it's like jarred sauce and they serve pasta. And I'm like, that's not a home cooked meal. That's not close to a home cooked meal. So I feel like I owe these folks something. And that's what I'm going to try to do here in the coming months.
All right. That would be cool.
Yeah.
That would be a good job.
I don't know if I've ever cooked for 45, 50 people before, but I think I can get it done. Might have to enlist one of our listeners there, Javier, who's the executive chef, for some advice before I take on this thing. But I already know what I'm going to make. So, but the one last day here in Tampa, and then head back to Southwest Florida. Cannot wait. Get back to a regular routine. Have a tea time for Friday, David. I'm very excited.
All right.
Doc gave me the green light for golf. And I'm like, okay, let's go.
Well done. Okay. This game is on now.
You got it.
Got Jason.
Right. Jason Sobel's kind enough to join us. He literally just finished his own show on SiriusXM PGA Tour Radio. He's also a golf analyst for CBS Sports HQ. He's part of the BetMGM family. Follow Jason on X at Jason Sobel Golf. Jason Sobel Golf. Jason, it's David and Mark. It's been a while. It's because we're both on the air at the same time. How are you?
Good morning, guys. I have to admit, I was not just on the air. I was sleeping up until like an hour ago. So don't give me too much credit, please.
Okay. Hey, a lot of ground to cover in about 10 minutes. All right. Let's just start with, how about Jon Rahm and the DP World Tour making up fully, kind of? What is it?
Yeah, it looks like they came to a conclusion and a settlement. And I think that Rahm had wanted to play 4 events on the DP. The DP wanted him to play 6 events. They settled at 5, which I'm no mediator, but that seems like a logical place to wind up there. So, look, Rahm's going to be able to play those events. Obviously, the future of LIV is very much in doubt, and he understands that. And unlike another guy that I'm sure we're going to talk about in a minute, I don't believe he has a YouTube channel that has millions of viewers every week and is making some money for him. So he's a guy that likes to stay competitive. He wants to play against the best players, and I think this is a pathway back for him. And we're going to see what happens moving forward. But yeah, there's a lot of different moving parts. It seems like the news changes every single day on this.
Look, Bryson to me is the only guy out there from LIV that moves the needle. I understand the PGA Tour wants to play hardball. Should they be with Bryson?
I don't think so. This is my opinion, and I think I'm in the minority on this, and I'll own that. But in my opinion, if you're Brian Rolapp, the CEO of the PGA Tour, who just started on the job last summer, it's my job, it's my goal to put the best product out there for the fans. And so how do I do that? Well, I do that by including all of the world's best players. And look, I know there's a lot of hard feelings on both sides of this. There were lawsuits, there were contractual things that they went through, and obviously there's going to have to be some fence mending here. But all that said, I want to put the best product out there. I want to have the best possible experience for my fan base when they turn on the TV on the weekend and watch PGA Tour events, or when they buy tickets and go to PGA Tour events. And it's impossible to have that experience without having a guy like Bryson DeChambeau if he's available. So I know a lot of people say, well, he left and he said this and he did that, and he should have to sit out for a long time. Look, I look at it the way, if we all worked for the same company and I left for a higher paying job with a rival and then came back to our company 4 years later, you wouldn't make me sit out for a year. At some point, you just say, okay, well, that's a thing that happened, and now you're back with us, and let's move forward. And so I don't think it's going to happen quite so easily with the PGA Tour and with Bryson and with any other players, but I kind of think it should. Just move forward and make the future better than what we've seen over the last 4 or 5 years.
Well, don't you believe, Jason, that it's how much of a voice Tiger's going to have? Because DeChambeau and Mickelson sued the PGA Tour. Like, Rahm never sued the PGA Tour. Others didn't sue the tour. They did. So for those that are holding a grudge, that's the biggest grudge to hold.
Look, I completely agree with it. And I know what you're saying. Again, I still think you've got to let bygones be bygones. This thing happened. It's in the past. And like I said, there's a lot of hurt feelings, and you're going to have a lot of big egos sitting in a room together saying, hey, I'm sorry for this, I'm sorry for that. And then you move on, you put the best product out there. How great would the PGA Tour be if, I'm trying to think, a few weeks from now, the next signature event, which would be the Memorial Tournament, Jack's event at the beginning of June, all of a sudden Jon Rahm and Bryson DeChambeau are playing in that field. If you found a way to make that happen, I get that there'd be a lot of players on the PGA Tour, a lot of players on that policy board who wouldn't be happy about it. That said, you're not going to find one golf fan who's not tuning in on that weekend. And that's sort of what I'm getting at. That's the main goal of this whole thing, is to put the best product out there. So do I think it's going to happen that way? Absolutely not. Would I like to see that? Would I advise that? Yeah, I would. I'd like, just move forward and make it as good as you can again.
Jason, I'm on your team. I think David is too, because we have a little phrase on this show. We've been at it for almost 20 years, and we've been saying one thing for 20 years. It's a TV show. At the end of the day, It's a TV show. Yep. And you're trying, as you said, you're trying to get as many people to watch as possible. And if Bryson started playing, people would turn on events. They just would. And I thought maybe a little thing out there. The PGA Tour of America is different than the PGA Tour. Or the PGA of America is different than the PGA Tour, but they just extended DJ an invitation to the PGA. That surprised me a little bit, because while they're separate organizations, they seem to run in lockstep. I don't know. Is that an olive branch for other live guys?
I feel like this has happened a handful of times over the last few years, that we've seen more of the live guys get into events. Usually it's somewhat performance-based. It's okay, Joaquin Niemann was playing really well on live last year, and the Masters extended him an invitation. He was one of the best players in the world that was undisputable, and they brought him in. Dustin Johnson has not been playing very well. This is more of an honorarium than it is a performance-based exemption. That said, I believe the frost is thawing a little bit, and we're seeing a world post-live where everyone gets along again, and we kind of we can move past it. And I was doing a show about live a couple of weeks ago, and I said, in the moment, in the bubble, there's all these, like I said, hurt feelings and all this conjecture and debate and people yelling at each other on social media and players not getting along and all this stuff. We're going to look back on this in 10, 15, 20 years and think of this as like some whimsical time in the world of professional golf where, oh my God, you remember that when golf had like 2 different leagues and there was this crazy, the cliques and the Majestics were actually team names of players who were out there? Well, that was wild. And I think that outside of the bubble we're in right now, we're going to be able to sit back and look at this as just a really weird, wild, kind of fun time in professional golf, even if it hasn't seemed like it's been fun over the last few years.
Jason, is Phil dead to the PGA Tour and to the PGA booth? Because obviously he would be so much better in the booth than either Immelman or Kisner. Okay, never mind. He'd sell tickets on the Champions Tour. I mean, is he dead to them, or are they going to welcome him back at some point?
Gosh, we started that question. Is Phil dead? And I didn't think it was going anywhere after that. And I was going to say, I don't know. I haven't seen him in a long time. He hasn't played golf. We don't know what's going on with Phil. So is he dead to the PGA Tour? Look, ever is a very, very long time. And I won't say ever. And I completely agree with you that his value is in less as a player and more as a broadcaster, a Ryder Cup captain. I mean, there were so many roles that Phil was going to have. And he's just worn this black hat and become the villain. And I don't understand why. And I also have absolutely no idea what Phil is doing right now. And look, I hope that his family is fine. I hope that everything's going well. I can tell you that I probably had 25 conversations with people in the industry during Masters Week about what's up with Phil, and heard 25 different rumors. So there's just a lot of people talking about it. And it seems like absolutely nobody knows exactly what the real story is and what's going on. Look, I certainly don't want to make light of whatever family situation he said he has going on. Knowing Phil Mickelson, if it is a family situation, he probably wouldn't say it's a family situation. So, I don't know if we're, this is a little snow job here, if, it's the actual intent of what he's saying or not. But look, I miss Phil Mickelson. He won a major championship 5 years ago at the age of 50, and he should be out there still playing golf at 55 and still acting as this sort of authoritarian over the game a little bit, and a guy that should be on TV and calling golf shots. And we're not going to see any of that. And I don't know. Again, ever's a long time. Is it going to happen this year? No. Is it going to happen next year? No. 8 years from now, can Phil Mickelson and whoever's running the PGA Tour kiss and make up and move forward with things? Maybe. I haven't seen any signs that Phil Mickelson's interested in that, quite frankly, though.
Well, it's too bad for everybody. And, Jason, 8 years would be too long. But at some point, all those people that are upset about Live Golf need to figure out that these events, these signature events all happen because of Live Golf. Jason, thanks so much for your time and your insight. We always appreciate it. Enjoy the rest of your day.
Absolutely. Thanks, guys.
Jason Sobel, SiriusXM, PGA Tour Radio. That's Channel 92, CBS Sports HQ, and he's part of the BetMGM family. Follow him on X at Jason Sobel Golf, Jason Sobel Golf.
Well, we found another one that's on our team. That's up to 3 now, David. You and I and Jason Sobel, because everybody else wants these guys to rot.
Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie John and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at pelicanroofingcompany.com. CCC 1332512. Mark Miller for Sleep Treatment Direct. They are helping me with sleep apnea. And by helping me, I mean curing me. No more CPAP machine. No more snoring. No more tossing. No more waking up exhausted. Their expert team got me the right treatment, fast and hassle-free. If you want to feel energized and get rid of your snoring, call Sleep Treatment Direct today. 444-1741. That's 239-444-1741. Sleep Treatment Direct. Sleep safe and sound. American Paint Supplies, for nearly 30 years, is your one-stop shop for all your coating needs. If you are a designer, a contractor, a professional painter, or a weekend warrior, American Paint Supplies is the place where experts go to get expert solutions. At 6100 Shirley Street in Naples off of Pine Ridge, American Paint Supplies delivers the best solutions with the best products with the best support. Meet Gene and his team today at American Paint Supplies. Call 239-566-2700. That's 566-2700 or online at AmericanPaintSupplies.net.
Well, Floormeisters just doesn't sell Cortec and carpet. They also sell a lot of wood. And what better time than now to stop in and see the nice folks at Floormeisters for some new hardwood for your home. With white oak wood starting at $4.99 a square foot, that makes it affordable for everyone. With 10 colors to choose from, they have a color for everyone. So stop in, 6281 Naples Boulevard, right next to Costco, or go to the web. It's floormeisters.com. Floormeisters.com. Floormeisters, just keeping it real.
This is Miller and Moulton.
Treatment Direct. Miller for home's first. Your roof.
So 12, 16, 24. It's going to be 16 or 20.
Years in Naples. American.
Thank you very much. 69, the Greek. That's a hell of a name. You know, CBW, it's interesting that you say that because I think Phil could still play in the Masters coming up. That's the only problem. But if he were the honorary starter if Augusta said, I don't care about the PGA Tour, and they did it, would that open up the door for Phil? Like, that to me is interesting. But I think Phil still has aspirations of playing in Augusta. So then there's that.
He finished T2 at the Masters 3 years ago.
That's what I mean.
Right.
I'm
By the way, CBW, I do think they'll make him an honorary starter one day. I think it'll be 10 years because I think he'll have to be done playing.
right.
But he'll be 65. He's a 3-time champion. I think you can count on one hand the people who have won it more.
All right. All right. Now we're getting somewhere.
Welcome back to Miller and Moulton. Text the guys what's in your mind at 21,000. That's 21000. And now, here's David Moulton.
21 minutes past the hour. Miller and Moulton, millerandmoulton.com, Miller_Moulton on X. Mark, this may be a reach, but you know how Garbage Bag Day? And Garbage Bag Day is the same in the major sports, which is you got knocked out of the playoffs and you're going in one last time and you just throw everything in a garbage bag or two and you throw it in your trunk and you go home. That's it. We'll see you in training camp. And in Garbage Bag Day, which is where we started the show, Andre Vasilevsky, he said his piece. and how frustrated he is with 4 years in a row getting knocked out in the first round and what have you. What's interesting to me is there's a little bit of garbage bag day going around on the PGA Tour. Since it's been 3-4 weeks now that the LIV is dead. Long live the LIV. I mean, I know it's not officially dead, but
it's dead.
It's
dead, David. You're right.
And so what's going around at all these PGA Tour events is the tour media is asking the tour pros. So what's your stance on the LIV guys? And some are begging off, but it's interesting. They have different opinions. Some are, they should rot in hell. Some are, I got nothing against any of them. I'd welcome them back tomorrow. And some are, I know we're going to have to do something. Not quite sure what that's going to be. Should we treat them the same way we treated Brooks, or because they stayed on board an extra 4 months? Are we going to come down, draconian on them? But I mean, a lot of people are giving their opinions. I find it because talk about bland. PGA Tour players are bland. They don't have an opinion about anything.
Yeah, Scotty Scheffler's going very Michael Jordan here. I mean, he was asked, I just got off the golf course. How can I answer a question like that? Right. Let's talk about my putt. I mean, he has no interest in giving any answer. And even Rory, who was the most opinionated guy on tour, has hemmed and hawed a little bit.
Yeah, because first
compared to where he was.
Well, because also Rory got screwed by the PGA Tour. He got hung out to dry by the PGA Tour. So, he's not as all in on the PGA Tour. He does not see it through the rose-colored glasses that he saw it in 3 years ago. He knows that this is political and a business, and they hung him out to dry.
They did.
I mean, how many more prominent golfers have there been lately than Rory McIlroy? And they hung him out to dry. And by the same token, he's got some friends that are on that tour that he'd like to play with.
Mm-hmm. The one that made me laugh, though, and I don't know if this is a tell of what they're hearing. Is it Thomas Peters? Who said something to the effect of, I'd rather die than ever play on the PGA Tour again?
Right.
Is that because they're not inviting you? To me, I wondered how much of that was a tell, and I'm taking my ball and going home. Where are you going to play, buddy?
Right. The follow-up right is pretty obvious. It's Thomas, I appreciate your opinion. How much of that opinion has to do with the fact that, you're only going to be able to play on the DP World Tour, and you're going to have to take an entire year to try to qualify to play again on the PGA Tour? Hello?
And
Hello?
the guys that are saying this and that, Koepka's contract was up. He was at a different point than Rahm DeChambeau. He was.
Patrick Reed's contract was up.
Right.
And so he did the same thing. And now they held him to a different standard, though.
And they put it on the 5-year window of majors, because Reed's Masters was before that, right?
Right. I think it was 18. Was it the year before Tiger?
Right.
Yeah.
So they were able to have their, and again, where David and I have been all through this is like, I wish one of the people in the golf media would just say, I know you hate everything live. Do you think we'd have these signature events without it?
Yeah.
And just stop right there. Get your 6 seconds there, because no one's really asked that question, David. At least I've not heard it asked.
Not only that, guys, can we just go back 4 or 5 years? I know Greg Norman and Phil Mickelson are the Antichrist. Got it. Do we want to go back and look at purses 5 years ago versus now? You got
and we're
one and a half
credit to the PGA Tour.
Yeah, well, you went out and saw it, a $1.5 billion capital investment from a bunch of rich folks. You weren't talking about doing any of that until this. Okay. When
And all
Phil
that
and
money that
others,
was in the tour that was going, that we're paying guys for their social media accounts, where was that before? Because that money existed. Phil told you it all existed.
right. And you all said, no, it doesn't. And then miraculously, wow, there it is. Huh. Imagine that. So,
And I know, we've said it before there, and it's not a knock on the golf media. It's not like a team. They need these players to talk to them. They do. And the players more and more are not talking to them. But they've not asked a difficult question of these guys. They really haven't. And I think there are some I don't think you have to be, and I'm doing it, David, it's not you. You don't have to be that Simpson guy attacking the president of the Maple Leafs with your question. But you can ask the tough question. You don't have to be a jerk about it. You don't have to be snarky like we are right now. There's a way to phrase that to just say, do you think the signature events would have happened without Live Golf? I'll hang up and listen.
right.
Skip that last part. But I mean, if you ask that, that's a very fair question, David.
Very. Because the answer is no. Because they had never happened before. I mean, listen, it's ironic it was Norman. Because in the early 90s, Greg Norman had the idea, it was kind of live-like, but it was world golf around the world. And he came up with the idea to play these certain tournaments. And the PGA Tour all but threatened to ban him from the tour. He was the #1 player in the world. They all but threatened to ban him from the tour, and then took his idea, stole it, and we had the WGC events the very next year. He never got any credit for it. They were totally his idea.
And Greg is a very polarizing guy in the golf world. We've always said he's been great to us. There are a lot of other people I know that he's not been great to. So we have a soft spot for Greg Norman. He was terrific to us over the years. Terrific. Couldn't have been kinder, more open to talking to us, and gave us a lot of his time over the years. So we're thankful of that. Because at that time we were a little show in Fort Myers.
Now we're just a little show in 5 other places.
Still little, just not on the scale. But there are questions to me that could be asked. And, you started this with Garbage Bag Day and Vasilevsky. I think we can get more into that one. Just, I think there's more there. I'm wondering the legs that this has in that organization.
Yeah, me too. First time in 13 years, someone has publicly questioned something that John Cooper has said. I don't think it's a coincidence.
I don't know if it means someone has to go. I don't know if this is Dominic Hasek, Ted Nolan days, but I think there are legs to this story, David.
Oh, could you imagine that soap opera nowadays with all the social media and the internet? That would have been amazing.
Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie John and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at pelicanroofingcompany.com. CCC 1332512.
The Floormeisters just doesn't sell Cortec and carpet. They also sell a lot of wood. And what better time than now to stop in and see the nice folks at Floormeisters for some new hardwood for your home. With white oak wood starting at $4.99 a square foot, that makes it affordable for everyone. With 10 colors to choose from, they have a color for everyone. So stop in, 6281 Naples Boulevard, right next to Costco, or go to the web. It's floormeisters.com. Floormeisters.com. Floormeisters, just keeping it real.
American Paint Supplies, for nearly 30 years, is your one-stop shop for all your coating needs. If you are a designer, a contractor, a professional painter, or a weekend warrior, American Paint Supplies is the place where experts go to get expert solutions. At 6100 Shirley Street in Naples off of Pine Ridge, American Paint Supplies delivers the best solutions with the best products with the best support. Meet Gene and his team today at American Paint Supplies. Call 239-566-2700. That's 566-2700 or online at AmericanPaintSupplies.net.
Cape Coral Police Department is growing and they want you to be a part of it. They're hiring new officers. Starting pay is between $74,000 and $90,000 depending on your experience. And with a $10,000 hiring bonus, you could be making $100,000. Enjoy paid holidays, off-duty details, plenty of OT opportunities. They're also hiring dispatchers and professional staff. So go to CapeCops.com. CapeCops.com. Be brave, be best, be Cape.
This is Miller and Moulton.
American Your roof.
I'll come in with a
American
pipe.
Paint Supplies for nearly
I'll come in.
I think it's a real possibility. I mean, look at how much longer can the network survive, Tretherian? The rest of their programming costs them money, and I don't know where they make it. So I think the NFL and a lot of sports end up on the streaming services because I don't know if network television, I don't know if it makes it.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
22 minutes till we're done. That's it. 4 hours in the books. Miller and Moulton, millerandmoulton.com, Miller_Moulton on X.
We may have to dive into this Tampa thing more tomorrow. We may.
Okay.
I'm just curious how, what the columns, and I've not read the Tampa Bay Times today, but curious what JP Peterson says today about it. I mean, there's a lot of people that are going to have their comments today, and I really wonder how much life this will have.
Well, I think you need someone else to agree with them for it to have life.
I think there will be.
Okay, because Hagel talked yesterday, and Hagel just said John Cooper's the best coach. He said he's the best coach in the league by far.
Okay, I know it sounds absurd because everybody wants to trade Kucherov right now. But if Vasilevsky's the guy that's upset with Cooper and that doesn't go away, and you're talking about a blockbuster to get younger, is it possible the goalie could move in the offseason? That's kind of what I was thinking. I wouldn't, David. I'm not even suggesting it, but I'm just wondering, is this something that is this where the bombshell move off season could come from?
I just don't know how you replace him. And I mean with a body. I mean, like with Kucherov, you could make the argument you're not going to replace him talent for talent, but you're making the move because you're freeing up, $9.5 million, and you're going to do different things with it. But I mean, they don't have anybody. So, they'd have to get one back in return.
You're right. Just throwing some things out there because that was strong what he said yesterday.
Very strong.
That's, as you mentioned, that has not happened in the John Cooper tenure in Tampa Bay.
I mean, that was Vasilevsky basically saying to his coach, hey, cut it out. Stop it. Okay? We're not winning. It's our fault. It's all of our fault. We need to suck it up and do better. Okay? Your approach is basically too soft. That's what Vasilevsky was saying to Cooper yesterday. Okay? You're being too soft here, coach. Okay? We're not getting the job done. It's on us.
Yeah, the other little subtle jab he threw out was all guys are doing is complaining about the ice in between periods. I mean, that's saying, guys, both teams are playing on the ice, same ice. Suck it up, score goals.
Well, the other thing, when he went out and complimented the Carolina Hurricanes, I mean, I'm telling you, there's more to this. There's a lot of layers to this.
I could not agree more. And he also said, defensively, they only scored less than 2 goals. I mean, he buried the offense, the team's offensive productivity, period.
Yeah, he did.
And he ain't talking to Hagel, okay?
No. Point was hurt. Another one of those injuries. We'll find out about it in a month when he's got some major surgery. But I think this is Vasilevsky calling out Kucherov.
I don't disagree with you. I think you're probably right. So let's just see what the offseason brings and see in the next 24 hours here in Tampa Bay if there are more legs to this story.
It's that time again, nearing the end, but not quite there yet. Here's Mark Miller with Today Was the Day When.
It would be nice if I was ready for this. It's only my own segment here. I like this guy and I like this company. So we'll start in 1837 when this blacksmith named John Deere creates the first commercially successful self-scouring steel plow in Grand Decatur, Illinois. Hello. The World's Fair in Paris opens today in 1889. They just completed that Eiffel Tower thing. The elevators to the tower are not yet ready. So if you wanted to get to the top, 1,710 steps. No thanks. Babe Ruth hits his first home run today in 1915. He'd go 12 as the Red Sox would lose to the Yankees in extra innings 4-3. Today in 37, in Lakehurst, New Jersey, the Hindenburg explodes. This is the why. I mean, it's a blimp and it blew up. 35 of 97 on board died. The fact that 62 lived, now one person on the ground was killed also. Obviously, any life loss is terrible. It's a long time ago, whatever. 62 people lived from a blimp that blew up. That seems wild. That seems like a big number.
They all jumped and survived the fall.
Bannister becomes the first person to run a sub 4-minute mile today in 1954. 3:59.4. The final broadcast of I Love Lucy was on CBS today in 57. Right close to where I'm at in Clearwater, David. Keith Richards couldn't sleep because there's a guitar riff in his head. He rolls the tape and plays it. He wakes up, finds the riff to this little song called Satisfaction. The Stones also released Painted Black today in 66. Johnny Cash releases the Live at Folsom Prison album today in 68. Affirmed wins the Derby in the first leg of the Triple Crown today in 78. These next two are for David. I know he's going to know the answer. But Gaylord Perry becomes the 15th today in 82 to win 300. He did it with?
Ooh, in 82, Padres?
No. Wow. I hope
Seattle?
you're as shocked as I am, everybody.
Seattle?
And David, today in 91 at 51, this gentleman becomes the oldest racer to win a NASCAR race, winning the Winston 500 in Talladega.
Well, Mark, that's Harry Gant.
You're damn right it is. The smile on your face made my day right there.
I loved Harry Gant. Okay, I interviewed him. He was doing a public appearance at a gas station in Clark Summit, Pennsylvania, the week of Pocono. Okay, that's how little those guys were making back then. They were doing appearances during the week. Now they're flying in on private jets right before qualifying.
Today in 94, the Channel Tunnel linking England and France officially opens. A year later, the Classic Sports Network begins on cable TV. I mean, it was YouTube before YouTube for the sports fan. Watched a lot of boxing matches on Classic Sports Television, David. In black and white, some of them too.
Right.
Two things in 97. This upsets people in the Northeast. The Whale became the Carolina Hurricanes today. No more brass bonanza. And Rick Pitino becomes the coach of the Celtics today in 97.
Biggest mistake he ever made.
98, Kerry Wood strikes out 20. Throws a one-hitter in his 5th career start. That was a big day. I remember that. I mean, that was huge.
WGN.
Yeah.
And because it was his 5th career start, the announcers were going crazy. Jack Brickhouse called into the television broadcast saying, "This is the most amazing thing I've ever seen." Jack Brickhouse.
The final airing of Friends was today in 04. 52.5 million viewers. That's pretty damn good in 04. I mean, we've got cable. We're starting to parse out what we watch. That's pretty big.
So did you say today was the final day for both I Love Lucy and Friends?
Yes.
I mean, that's 2 of the top 10 comedies all time, isn't it?
Boy, that's a tough list right there. But yeah, I mean, Friends was a monster. I
Yeah.
keep seeing videos when I'm on, whether it's, YouTube Shorts or TikTok or whatever. I know people now fat shaming and all that show was funny.
Yes,
It was funny.
Yeah.
And David, it was today 3 years ago. Chucky became king. The coronation of King Charles III and Queen Camilla at Westminster Abbey. First new monarch in 70 years. Lizzie had it for a while.
Can't believe he made her queen. Okay. She could have been like Queen something. Okay. And,
Queen Emeritus?
No, no, I forget the title. Okay. But he didn't have to give her, the full title.
You know what? Right. Hey, wife, I'm not naming you queen. Good luck with that.
You just look right at her and go, I love you, honey. You're not in the same league as my mother.
Sigmund Freud, Orson Welles, Willie Mays, and Reuben Hurricane Carter would have all celebrated birthdays today. The pride of Ann Arbor, Michigan. Bob Seger is 81. George Clooney, 65, and he looks better than most 45-year-olds. Martin Brodeur is 44. Martin Brodeur, 54. Jason Witten, 44. Chris Paul, 41. Jose Altuve is 36. And Angel Reese is 24. She just missed 3 layups and rebounded all of them. What did I miss, David?
It's funny you mentioned Clooney's birthday. There's like 4 or 5 stars. Pitt, Cruz, Clooney. It escapes me. He did the Pirates. Johnny Depp. They're all between like 62 and now, because Clooney turned 65. I mean, all of them. And they all look 46.
Yeah. Plastic surgery is wonderful.
Yeah, it sure is.
Time to see life a little bit differently. Here's Mark Miller with the good, the bad, and the ugly. What you got, Mark?
Wow. I thought I had a good on here. I don't. So I'm just going to be selfish. The goods, I'm going home. Simple as that.
Yeah.
Now let's have some fun. The bad, we go to Boston. And not because of Vrabel, the Celtics, or the Bruins. Had to throw that in there.
Nice.
A co-owner of a Boston bakery is offering baked goods as a reward for the safe return of the eatery's mascot, a large plastic ice cream cone named Swirly. It's a fixture outside of the Flower Bakery in Boston Common, and they thought it blew away during the winter. The owner now has good reason to believe the mascot is nearby because apparently he was spotted in a nearby dorm window, as she said, looking down lovingly at home, and we have reason to believe he may be confused about where he is. Sounds like some college kid stole him and she's doing some begging. Finally, the ugly. We go to New Jersey. At Lake Henry in the Continental Soldiers Park in Mahwah. Do I have that right, David?
You do. Well
All
done.
right. A beaver attacked an 8-year-old boy.
Ooh.
I'm not joking. I saw the video. It was something else. The child began to run away, but he tripped, and the animal bit the child in the upper thigh and continued to attack him. The relatives of the boy are trying to get him out of the water and away from the beaver as he gives chase. One relative kicked the animal as a pet dog tried to help before someone managed to pick the beaver up and fling it back into the water. That's a lot of rabies shots coming.
Whew.
And that is the good, the bad, and the ugly on today, May the 6th, brought to you by the Cape Coral Police Department, offering new jobs, great pay, great signing bonus. For all information, capecops.com. That's capecops.com.
2 NHL playoff games, both on TNT, 7 and 9:30, which means 7:15 and 10. Canadian Sabres early.
Oh, can't wait for that series. Looking forward to it.
Ducks, Knights late, Vegas already up 1-0 in that series. 2 NBA playoff games, both on the 4-letter network, 7 and 9:30, which means 7:10 and 10 o'clock. Sixers, Knicks up 1-0. T-Wolves, Spurs, T-Wolves up 1-0. So TNT for hockey, ESPN for hoops. Everybody's playing in baseball. 6 of the games are in the afternoon where it's a getaway situation, including at the Trop. Rays going for the sweep of the Jays. Miami's still home for Baltimore. It's a night game. There are 2 games that interest me. Skeens pitching for the Pirates in Arizona. And Mark, it's the beauty of baseball. I know it's a long season, but on Friday morning last week, the Reds were in first place. Since then, they haven't won, and the Cubs' winning streak is at 7. And now they're 4 back of the Cubs. And the Reds are playing the Cubs again today at Wrigley. At some point, Cincy needs a win.
Well, I am also curious, and it's my team, but mainly because the benches emptied last night. The Red Sox manager called the Tigers pitcher Bush League, and they finished that series today. So interested to see what happens there.
Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie John and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at pelicanroofingcompany.com. CCC 1332512.
Cape Coral Police Department is growing, and they want you to be a part of it. They're hiring new officers. Starting pay is between $74,000 and $90,000, depending on your experience. And with a $10,000 hiring bonus, you could be making $100,000. Enjoy paid holidays, off-duty details, plenty of OT opportunities. They're also hiring dispatchers and professional staff. So go to capecops.com. Capecops.com. Be brave, be best. Be Cape.
Mark Miller for Sleep Treatment Direct. They are helping me with sleep apnea. And by helping me, I mean curing me. No more CPAP machine. No more snoring. No more tossing. No more waking up exhausted. Their expert team got me the right treatment, fast and hassle-free. If you want to feel energized and get rid of your snoring, call Sleep Treatment Direct today. 444-1741. That's 239-444-1741. Sleep Treatment Direct. Sleep safe and sound.
The Floor Meisters just doesn't sell Cortec and carpet. They also sell a lot of wood. And what better time than now to stop in and see the nice folks at Floor Meisters for some new hardwood for your home. With white oak wood starting at $4.99 a square foot, that makes it affordable for everyone. With 10 colors to choose from, they have a color for everyone. So stop in, 6281 Naples Boulevard, right next to Costco, or go to the web. It's floormeisters.com. Floormeisters.com. Floor Meisters, just keeping it real.
American Paint Supplies, for nearly 30 years, is your one-stop shop for all your coating needs. If you are a designer, a contractor, a professional painter, or a weekend warrior, American Paint Supplies is the place where experts go to get expert solutions. At 6100 Shirley Street in Naples off of Pine Ridge, American Paint Supplies delivers the best solutions with the best products with the best support. Meet Gene and his team today at American Paint Supplies. Call 239-566-2700. That's 566-2700 or online at AmericanPaintSupplies.net.
If you're a business who targets men, please know there is no better and more economical way to reach your target audience than us at Miller & Moulton. So let us help you make money. You can reach out to Mark at that Mark Miller or me at the David Moulton on X, or text us at 21,000. We have a proven product, a good reputation, and lots of quality segments that we can attach your company's name to. Miller & Moulton, we're like that old pizza box. You've had the rest, now try the best. Miller & Moulton, millerandmoulton.com.
This is Miller & Moulton.
Raj, thanks for everything, man.
Hey, congrats on your